racism. And Vincent Kompany says, I hope you can support us in this. I can detect a little bit of booing at Turf Moor, but by and large it was supported by the crowd here at Turf Moor as we are underway. So Chelsea in the Royal Blue are defending the cricket field end of the ground, for those of you who know who Turf Moor, and therefore they're playing from right to left as we look. As Bowyer is sent away on that right-hand side. It was quite a high line from Burnley. Sterling waits inside the penalty area, back towards Cole Palmer, and then Palmer plays it back to Cucurella as a right-back, Caicedo, and already, as a result of that, Chelsea are well camped inside the Burnley half.
Absolutely, running behind from Bowyer, brought it back. Chelsea just really happy to build.
Here is Sterling running at Vitinho, who gets a block challenge in, and behind it goes for a corner kick, so a corner inside the opening 60 seconds for Chelsea.
Yeah, and already a touch on the top of the 18-yard box for both Cole Palmer and Raheem Sterling, who actually won that corner. Really good early start from Chelsea.
So Gallagher waits to take it. Before placing the ball down in the quadrant, he actually makes a point of lifting the ball with both hands high above his head. So clearly some sort of instruction, a coded message to his Chelsea teammates. It's a stuttering run-up, it's right-footed, and it goes all the way towards the far side, headed out by Brownhill, picked up by Cole Palmer over on that far side, who's then dispossessed by Burnley, and there's a chance to break clear, and it's Foster leading that charge, and then the ball then was a poor one as he tried to feed it into to Odegaard over on that left-hand side, and Chelsea back, clear it out of play for a throw.
Yeah, that was Foster doing the defensive duties. He'll have to do a lot of that this afternoon, I imagine, but it was actually off the back of Chelsea's corner. He's gone and broke with the ball, and the pass was just not good enough in the final third.
That's Izzy Christiansen, who has proved to be extremely popular here at Turf Moor. It's a good job she's as nimble as she is. She's been in and out like a jack-in-a-box, with people asking for autographs and selfies. We even got a lovely embrace from Vincent Kompany as he made his way into to the ground today. Oh, to be as popular as you, is he?
Yeah, interesting dynamics. Myself and Vincent Kompany having a hug, given his size and my size.
Yeah. Well,
still really nice to see him.
Yeah, and Izzy is taking her coaching badges. Very friendly invitation from Vincent Kompany that is just waiting for you to take it up for an invite to the training ground, as he is aiming to avoid becoming the fourth manager to lose his first 5 Premier League home games in charge. As Sterling feeds the ball to Colwill, keeps the ball in play. Colwill did ever so well actually, because it looked like he was going to go out of play. Mick McCarthy, Terry Connor and Chris Ramsey are the other managers who have had such a poor start back in the day. A try in that Rugby Union World Cup game, Wales-Georgia. Gareth Lewis.
Yeah, third try for Wales just after half-time. Loose ball in midfield, 60-metre sprint under the posts for Lewis Rees-Zammit. Wales lead by 24 points to 7.
Commentary continues on Sports Extra. It really is a busy day of live sport. After the football, we've got England against Samoa, and then we're off to Formula One in Qatar for the sprint. And we're back to the Rugby Union for that vital game between Ireland and Scotland. All the build-up from 7:30. And then boxing after that, Lee Wood against Josh Warrington after the Rugby Union. So 11, 12 hours of 5 Live Sport today, we're bearing in mind that Mark's been on air since midday. 4 minutes played though, 0-0. Game still really just settling down. No other goals to tell you about. The results though in the earlier kickoffs in the Premier League: Luton Town 0, Tottenham Hotspur 1, Tottenham down to 10 men, but go top. Middlesbrough, a 5th successive win for Michael Carrick's side, as they beat Sunderland by 4 goals to 0 at the Stadium of Light in the Championship. And Oxford United have gone top of League One after beating Bristol Rovers 2-1 in a game where there were 3 red cards shown. How they started at Goodison Park, John Bennett.
It's Everton 0, Bournemouth 0. Quiet start to the game, but a change to the Everton 11. Idrissa Gueye injured in the warm-up, so Amadou Onana is into the 11. It's 0-0.
We'll keep you in touch with the goals as they go in, as we always do on a Saturday afternoon. As this is Thiago Silva for Chelsea on a very, very pleasant but slightly breezy afternoon. The Burnley claret flag on top of the Bob Lord stand is getting buffeted over on that far side. But Palmer opens it up. Colwill forward on this near side. His cross takes a deflection. It was an awkward one actually for Trafford. It reared up for the keeper.
Yeah, he does really well, James Trafford. There's Colwill again down this left-hand side for Chelsea, getting forward like we saw in the game on Monday against Fulham. And the cross, he's just looked to whip it early into Broja. Deflected, and Trafford does really well to keep his hands on it and relieve any pressure.
Burnley playing from left to right. We welcome listeners to from the World Service here to Turf Moor. Wherever you are in the world, always a pleasure to have your company. It's Burnley 0, Chelsea 0 for our commentary game in the Premier League. As wriggling clear over on that far side was Wilson Odobert, making his first Premier League start. Burnley win the ball back. Brownhill did well. Out to Odobert. Left corner of the area, takes it into the box away from Cucurella. Look for the support and the return ball back towards Brownhill. But Chelsea deal with that. Southampton, incidentally, are leading Rotherham by 1-0. Back-to-back wins for Southampton. Rotherham, who have lost all 6 away matches before today, and they're behind at St Mary's. It was a promising bit of play for the home team. Yeah,
Odebert's just had Cucurella on toast a couple of times, chopping in and outside, taking him on the outside, cutting back inside, getting the crowd off their seats. It's been a good start from Burnley.
Thought they were a little naive when I saw them here earlier in the season against Tottenham. They've shored things up a little bit more. I think they've got used to the rigours, or trying to get used to the rigours of the Premier League. They've had such a daunting opening schedule, really, in the Premier League of Burnley. They've played 5 of last season's top 8 in their opening 7 games, and you think about the teams who've come here to Turf Moor: Manchester City, Aston Villa, Tottenham and Manchester United. They've lost all 4 home games. They've only scored 3. They've conceded 12 as the ball's over the top towards Sterling, and Sterling just couldn't bring that ball under control. Through to Trafford.
Route 1 from Chelsea, Disasi to Sterling. Sterling just giving him the thumbs up as he jogs back. It was an excellent ball. The flight and the weight of it was right into the path of Sterling, straight down the spine of Burnley's defence. And yeah, not his first touch, Sterling. Couldn't quite connect with it.
Ball out from the back. Oh, that was such a square ball from Delcroix. It went a good 6 yards behind Charlie Taylor, the left back, and it's a throw that Chelsea have taken quickly on that right-hand side. Sutton United, they haven't won in 9 since the opening day, but they are leading Walsall in League 2 by 1-0. Here is Fernandes, World Cup winner, switching play out towards the left. Colwill again getting forward. Colwill trying for the support of Sterling. Berger's back there. They've lost the ball though of Burnley. Sterling now has it level with the penalty area on the left-hand side. Royal blue shirts and shorts. Gallagher, the Chelsea captain, inside to Fernandes, strokes it to Disasi, out then towards Cucurella with that familiar mop of hair. Inside now towards Palmer. Good control by Palmer. Goes for the curling effort too. Yet to score in his Premier League in his career. That was off target. So we've heard from John Bennett at Everton Bournemouth. What about Fulham Sheffield United? Lee Blakeman.
Fulham 0, Sheffield United 0. It's been all Fulham though. Williams had a fierce shot blocked from 16 yards, and De Cordova-Reid's had one deflected over, another deflected wide. Fulham on top, but no goals, 0-0.
Izzy myself were at Old Trafford in midweek for that defeat to Galatasaray in the Champions League. They've suffered back-to-back defeats at home. Manchester United, they're at home to Brentford today. Maz Faruqi.
Harry Maguire in his first Premier League start of the season hit it pretty much out of play on the far side for a Brentford throw with his first touch, and Hickey's just flashed over the crossbar from the deep of Brentford as well. Still Manchester United 0, Brentford 0 though.
Taylor clears the ball out of play for a throw. Goal at Goodison, John Bennett.
We haven't heard this roar at Goodison very many times this season. Everton 1, Bournemouth 0. James Garner won back possession 30 yards out, carried it into the box, side-footed finish. Everton 1, Bournemouth 0.
Bournemouth, who are yet to win in 7 games, behind at Goodison. 0-0 here at Turf Moor. One of our featured games in the Championship has had a goal. Millwall, Hull City, Becky Ives.
Millwall 1, Hull City 0. Duncan Watmore with a final touch from close range. It came from a free kick that was won by Joe Bryan. He then sailed it in. Duncan Watmore was there to smash it home. Millwall 1, Hull City 0.
9 minutes played here. Sterling, early ball. Fernandes was making that run ahead of him on the left-hand side, but Al-Dakhil was covering, and he slices his clearance somewhat, and out of play it goes for a throw. Is it?
Yeah, just Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo at the sort of base of Chelsea's midfield, really ticking things over in there, and kind of gives Enzo Fernandez license to go on roam. Just watching him, he's positioned himself in between the Burnley centre-back and full-back. He's causing all sorts of problems.
Thiago Silva, though, goes square to Disasi. Both the full-backs are pushed on. Stevenage are leading Wigan by 1-0 as Cole Palmer spreads play with a raking ball out towards Sterling on this near side, the left. Sterling now, just bobbled a little bit for him, but he's still back in control, dances his way in towards the penalty area. But there was Trezor doubling up and helping out Vitinho, but then he's lost the ball to Fernandez. Brownhill goes into the challenge. Vitinho will go with a back pass to Trafford, has to clear it first time, spinning its way through the air. Colwell, though, gets in front of Trezor and then plays the ball inside to Fernandez. Now with Caicedo. Cucurella inverted just outside the centre circle. Back out it goes towards Palmer. Challenge comes in, last touch off Cole Palmer. And no other goal. Before I forget, actually, no other goals elsewhere around the country. Mustn't forget fact of the day. Tony Livesey and Claire McDonnell drive every weekday on BBC Radio 5 Live, but each Friday at around 5:20 we do something called Fact of the Day. It's pithy and to the point with Claire. You could argue it's pointless with Tony, but the one this week is that Mauricio Pochettino has a late night vice. He's obsessed with darts. I got that one yesterday. I got it correct, hit the bullseye, as have most of the commentators in the weekly challenge. And Tony, who's in the prawn sandwich brigade, a man of the people. Yeah, right. 0-0, 11 minutes play. Here is Vitinho coming forward. Has some support from Trezor. Plays the ball back to Vitinho, but he didn't continue the run into the penalty area. Out for a goal kick, and we'll go to Celtic. Conor McLaughlin.
Kilmarnock nil, but the Celtic fans were off their feet. They thought they'd scored. It was disallowed, though. Kyogo was just slightly offside. Really similar move to his goal against Lazio in midweek, but it wasn't to be. Celtic nil, Kilmarnock nil.
Trying to play out from the back, almost got caught out there, did Chelsea. Wales, Georgia, by the way, in the Rugby Union World Cup. That's on Sports Extra. We're going racing very, very soon for the Sun Chariot Stakes with John Hunt. No other goals elsewhere around the country. Everton lead Bournemouth by 1-0, goalless at Craven Cottage and at Old Trafford, as well as here at Turf Moor. As Burnley have got a dreadful record against Chelsea. Burnley's last league win was in the old Division 2 40 years ago, 1983. Billy Hamilton popped up with 2 goals. A team that included Brian Laws, Willie Donachie, Mike Phelan, Brian Flynn and Trevor Stephen, all for Burnley in that 3-0 success. So that's going back some time. They did, though, notch up a win at Stamford Bridge. I recall 6 years ago. I was there that day. Cahill and Fabregas were sent off for Sean Dyche's side at the time as the ball boom goes away from Gallagher. Fernandez midway through his own half, faced by Berger, out to Cucurella. Cucurella then back to Disasi. We've got a nice control about the game, it seems, Chelsea at the moment. Yeah,
they're trying to figure out how to break Burnley down, to be quite honest with you. The rotating players. Cole Palmer's coming more centrally now. He started out on the right wing. Just see here on the half turn, centre of the pitch, fizzes it out to Sterling.
Nice and early, and he finds the England international, who skips away from one challenge, and Sterling! Oh, that was close. That was very, very close. It would have been a fine goal. Cut inside, right-footed, curling effort. Trafford at full stretch away to his left, and that must have been a whisker away from the right-hand post.
Looked so close. Classic Raheem Sterling. He's just cut inside, evaded the challenge of Vitinho. It whiskers past the post, but that is the change in tempo, the change in pace of the game. It was Cole Palmer on the half-turn in central areas, fizzes it out to Raheem Sterling, and bang, Chelsea on the attack.
Burnley trying to play out from the back. Penalty at Barrow, featured game in League 2. Charlie Slater.
12 minutes on the clock. Barrow nil, Notts County nil, but it's David McGoldrick for the Magpies. Notts County who have the penalty. A little stutter step here with his right foot. He sends the keeper the wrong way, and Notts lead by 1-0.
Chance here for Burnley, and taken. Wilson Odegaard marks his first Premier League start with his first Premier League goal. Left-footed, finds the bottom right-hand corner, and Burnley on the counter-attack lead by 1-0.
I tell you what, they have just sliced through Chelsea like Chelsea are trying to do to them. It's come from the right-hand side. It was Vitinho. Foster held his run. He took Disasi into the channel. He's cut inside. It looked like a foul from Thiago Silva on the edge of the box. Foster decided to stay on his feet. He slipped it into Odegaard. And I
He took it very, very well, didn't he?
It was a perfect finish, right across Sanchez into the far bottom corner on the left-hand side.
Now this is going to be a test for Chelsea, because Palace away in October 2022 was the last time that they've won a game after conceding the first goal. 19 Premier League games, drawn 3 and lost 16. But they're going to have to come from behind today. Sutton 2, Walsall 0 is the latest score in League 2. And that will give Burnley something to protect now here against a Chelsea side that so easily could have scored the opening goal just moments ago through that effort from Sterling. Let's get an update in the Formula 1. Harry Benjamin.
Yeah, we just finished here for qualifying for the sprint race later on this evening in Qatar, and it's the two McLarens who will start on the front row for the sprint. Piastri ahead of Norris, then comes Max Verstappen, had a lap time deleted for track limits and had to do another one. It was only enough for third, but if he finishes the race in third for the sprint, he'll be a three-time F1 champion. And
you'll hear that live as Harry was saying on BBC Radio 5 Live at 7:15 after England-Samoa in that final Pool D game in the Rugby Union World Cup, where we'll be after the football has finished in Lille. But Burnley lead Chelsea 1-0, and an interesting dynamic now to the game for Burnley. They're set up hard to beat.
Yeah, nothing's changed shape-wise, and why would it? Since going a goal up, Burnley look firmly in control. All the players so far seem to really know their role in and out of possession, and they seem really confident. And tell you what, that goal from Odegaard, both Burnley's wide players have started this game exceptionally well.
So the Burnley supporters are in good voice, and no wonder. Although they are one of 5 Premier League sides who are still yet to keep a clean sheet this season. And Luton, of course, failing to do so earlier as they were beaten by 10-men Tottenham Hotspur, who've had a terrific start to the season under Ange Postecoglou, who sit top of the Premier League. Tomorrow, of course, we've got 2 more live games for you as part of Premier League Sunday. Brighton, Liverpool at 2, Arsenal against Manchester City at 4:30. So 2 cracking games tomorrow live on BBC Radio 5 Live. But here is Gallagher to Caicedo. Back to Gallagher. What about the Royal Blue of Everton, John Bennett?
Yeah, they're on top in this game. Everton 1, Bournemouth 0. Dwight McNeil putting an effort wide. Jack Harrison is here looking for a second. It's going to be cleared away. No, it's not. It's a shot from Doucouré, and it's well saved by the Bournemouth goalkeeper. Everton 1, Bournemouth 0.
As promised, we're going racing. It's the Sun Chariot Stakes with John Hunt.
And we're at the halfway stage of this 1 mile Group 1 feature. It's the 29th Group 1 race of the summer season, and all eyes on Frankie Dettori's mount, the favourite in Spiral, who had a very awkward start, but she's now starting to make nice progress with a lot of quality over on the far side. Less than 3 to run in Spiral's come through to hit the front. Now, much will depend what the French challenger Marquise de Sevilla can now find from that position. She's 2 lengths behind in Spiral, and Dettori Meditate getting going as well, followed then by Roman Mist, but in Spiral has got a very useful break over the field. This could easily be Frankie Dettori's 500th Newmarket winner, just a couple of weeks away from his retirement from British racing, and in Spiral more than good enough. And Dettori waves his right hand above his head, and he keeps it there as he sails past the line. In Spiral has thrashed them. Looks as though, for the record, Marquise de Sevilla has finished in second place, followed by Heredia in third, but it's all again about Dettori, his 6th Group 1 winner of the season, his 500th winner at Newmarket. And Ian, I heard you reminiscing about Burnley sides of old, but when Frankie Dettori rode his first Newmarket winner, Ruud Gullit and Marco van Basten won the 1988 European Championships for the Netherlands.
Yeah, it's some career, isn't it? Thank you, John. John Hunt live here on BBC Radio 5 Live, calling Frankie Dettori home, which sounded such a procession for the legendary jockey. In the sunshine at Turf Moor, Burnley is still leading by a 1-0. Everton 1, Bournemouth 0. Fulham Sheffield United goalless, as is Manchester United Brentford in the Championship at Home Park. Plymouth are leading Swansea City by 1-0. Swansea, who've won their last 3 and staying in the Championship. Queen's Park Rangers, without a win in 5, have fallen behind at home to Blackburn Rovers. Blackburn, who've lost their last 4 in the Championship, are leading by 1-0 in West London. But it's 1-0 to Burnley. 20 minutes played here on BBC Radio 5 Live. The rugby continues on Sports Extra. Wales against Georgia. Berger back. And Chelsea at the minute, you said earlier on, didn't you, Izzy, about Chelsea struggling for goals. That could be a recurring problem for them here today. Can't really get to test James Trafford a great deal at the moment. Elsewhere, there's been a goal in the Championship at Portman Road. Flo Pollock.
Fantastic goal. Ipswich 1, Preston 0. It was a corner, played low across the box. Connor Chaplin latched onto it, lashed it home into the top corner. Ipswich 1, Preston 0.
Ball scooped over the head of Gallagher and picked up by Trafford. When you've been in sides that you've struggled to keep a clean sheet, as Burnley have, how much does that play on your mind?
Yeah, of course. It goes back to basics and the way that Burnley have played through. I mean, they're just gliding through Chelsea right now.
That was Berger, and out to the goal scorer, Audebert, the teenager, only 18 years of age, as he comes forward. Left-hand side of the penalty area, stands over the cross. Trezor almost got there. Maybe he was a little bit too surprised, because he leapt at it, and then whilst he's in the air, he's right-footed, 6 yards out, tried to stab it goalwards. Or did Colwell do enough just to put him off?
No, I don't think Colwell knew he was there. He was on his back shoulder. It's one of those hung-up crosses towards the back stick. It makes the fullback make a decision, and it's Colwell who's defending. He thinks he's in the right shape. He's got no idea that Trezor's coming in behind him, and Trezor knows it. He's just looking to the sky as he runs back into his shape. He knows it. That's a big chance. Yeah, that could easily have been a second goal for Burnley. The ball is passed out towards Taylor, the left-back, former Leeds United player. On that far side, the left, back now towards Berger, and then Berger to Al-Dakhil, now across towards Delcroix. Crawley 0, Wrexham 1 is a latest score in League 2. Phil Parkinson's side there ahead in Sussex as a challenge comes in from Colwell. Tranmere are leading Grimsby by 1-0, also in League 2, and there's been a goal at Barrow. Charlie Slater.
21 minutes on the clock. Barrow 0, Notts County 1. David McGoldrick with that from the penalty spot after it was won by Macaulay Langstaff, and Notts County continue to lead and are well on top here in Cumbria.
Fleetwood 0, Wycombe 1 is a latest score in League 1. Out to the far side, Burnley still leading by a goal here at Turf Moor midway through the first half on BBC Radio 5 Live and also the World Service. Available too on BBC Sounds. Delcroix goes back. Trafford in his black goalkeeping outfit is midway through the Burnley half in a central position, acting as a bit of a sweeper keeper is Al-Dakhil, and then Cullen, tidy midfielder that he is, the Irish international, back to Trafford, keeping the ball well, Burnley.
Yeah, they are, and it's also because Chelsea are putting kind of passive pressure on Burnley. They're not particularly interested. I'm watching their intent on the press. They're not really going at them and picking their moments. It's actually giving Burnley an opportunity just to play, pop it around. Cullen's dictating play, Burgess helping in there as well in that central midfield area. Very comfortable at the moment, Burnley.
There's been a goal at Celtic. Conor McLaughlin.
Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 0. Rio Hatate for his second goal of the season. Showed some great footwork on the edge of the box and unleashed an effort to the left-hand post of Will Dennis. Cracking effort. It means if it stays like this, Celtic will be 7 points clear of St Mirren at the top of the Scottish Premiership. Remember, they play tomorrow. Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 0.
If I didn't mention Fleetwood 0, Wycombe 1 I have now. Other latest scores: Accrington 1, Forest Green 0, and we're up to date. 24 minutes played. Burnley still lead by 1-0. Wilson Audebert, 18 years of age, French midfielder. They signed from Troyes, who were relegated last season. He scored 4 goals in 32 appearances last season. That's the Champagne region of France, isn't it, Troyes? He might even crack open a bottle of bubbly if the goal provides Burnley with a...
Are you saying that because I've played in France and I know all the Champagne regions?
Well, I'm sure that when you won the Champions League, when you were there, you probably tasted a little bit of bubbly, did you not?
There was a little on the plane home, yes.
Yeah, and I am right in saying that Troyes is the Champagne region?
You are correct.
Yeah. So Audebert might be cracking it open later on, if of course it gives Burnley their first win at home as the ball goes long by Fernandes and picked up by Trafford. Colchester 0, Morecambe 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0, Blackburn 2. Not to say that I've been distracted by all that talk of champagne, but I have forgotten where I'm meant to be going now. And it's Fulham. Lee Blakeman.
Fulham 0, Sheffield United 0. Fulham have just had a great chance to score. Willian through on goal, 12 yards out. Great save by Wes Foderingham, but we've got a lengthy stoppage here because of a serious looking injury to Sheffield United's Chris Basham. Stretcher called for. Fulham 0, Sheffield United 0.
Well, let's hope all is okay, but Lee will keep us in touch with that. That'll mean a lengthy stoppage at Craven Cottage as Cucurella to Palmer in field. Here is Broja, 30 yards out from goal, dropping a little bit deeper for Chelsea, playing from right to left in their royal blue shirts and shorts. Fernandes, forward ball, little drag flick there by Sterling, chips the ball in just over the head of Carl. It was nice approach play, they just can't, as the ball is tossed out early to Odobert. Oh, that was a wild slash of a left leg by Cucurella. He apologises to it, but Brownhill's taken exception to it, and Odobert now has gone down. Just a little kick out from Cucurella.
Yeah, he's been yellow carded for it. It was just that one. Burnley have actually tried to get Chelsea off guard on the transition. Trafford's thrown it straight out to Odobert, and Cucurella's just rushing back. And yeah, just watching the replay, it is a little hack, isn't it, at his legs? Yeah, it's a right hack, isn't it? And he's apologising, and Brownhill, the captain for Burnley, has gone right up to Cucurella just to let him know you don't do that to my player.
Well, had he actually caught him properly, you could have been looking at then a straight red.
Yeah, we could be looking at another colour, but I think yellow is about right.
Cardiff 1, Watford 0, latest score in the Championship. The leaders Leicester are leading at home to Stoke City by a goal to 0. Mike Maine.
24 minutes played, Leicester 1, Stoke 0. Iheanacho through on the left of the box, slid it across goal and made up for his earlier miss where he headed wide. Leicester 1, Stoke 0.
And another goal at Millwall for Becky Ives.
Millwall 1, Hull City 1. It was Jayden Philogene who picked up the ball from across down the centre, found himself one-on-one with the keeper, made no mistake, low, hard shot into the bottom right-hand corner. Millwall 1, Hull City 1.
Joining Cucurella in the notebook of referee Stuart Atwell is Enzo Fernandez. He showed dissent to the referee, so he has been booked. There's been a goal in the Premier League. It's at Old Trafford. Maz Faruqi.
And it's gone for Brentford. Matthias Jensen finding the back of the net. Another mistake from Onana. He really should have done better to block it. And the ball was given away in the Manchester United half by Harry Maguire as well in the build-up. Manchester United 0, Brentford 1.
Well, that really could be a horrendous week for Eric Ten Hag to lose to Palace, Galatasaray and Brentford.
Ouch. Was not expecting another Onana mistake to come through on these, what do you call them, cans? Headphones.
Headphones.
I learned that this week.
Yeah.
Cans.
Headphones, cans. Tranmere 1, Grimsby 1. Just a penny for the thoughts of David De Gea, because Onana really hasn't had the best of starts. Salford 0, Crewe 1 is a latest score in League 2. And Bolton Wanderers are leading Carlisle by a goal to 0 in League 1. Bolton, who were third this morning, they've won their last 3. Carlisle only 1 win in 13. Back underway then here at Turf Moor. Chelsea looking for an equaliser. Broja enters the penalty area, loses the ball, and Trezor eventually gets rid of it with a fancy bit of footwork and now runs away from the challenge of Fernandes. He slows down, Foster's going ahead of him, but he keeps on hold of the ball. Excellent play from Mike Trezor, the Belgian midfielder, as we go back to Gareth Lewis watching Wales-Georgia.
Yeah, great timing, and it got really jittery for Wales. 2 quick-fire tries from Kalkadze and Niniashvili for Georgia to narrow the gap to 5 points. But Lewis Rees-Zammit, his second try of the afternoon, a bonus point now for Wales. That's crossed in the corner. They've just seen a losing bonus point to top the group. That should be it with just about 13 minutes to go. 29-19, Wales lead.
And an update in the Cricket World Cup, Henry Moran.
And South Africa's record-breaking score is going to be very difficult for Sri Lanka to chase down. They've fallen to 114 for 4 in pursuit. 429 is the target. 3 centurions in South Africa's innings.
Another goal is in the Championship. Back to Portman Road we go. Flo Pollock.
Preston equalised. Ipswich 1, Preston 1 as a long ball brought down well by Mad Jensen, who taps it into the back of the net. Ipswich 1, Preston 1.
Odobert, the goal scorer for Burnley, left corner of the area, dispossessed by Cucurella. Up towards Sterling it goes for Chelsea, still trailing by a goal to 0. pulled back there, and that surely must be a yellow card. There was no attempt to play the ball by Cullen. I'm surprised it took as long. That was a yellow card all day long. Stuart Atwell shows Josh Cullen yellow.
Yeah, just Raheem Sterling doing what he does best, close control. Cullen just really makes sure that he grabs Raheem Sterling, Sterling almost gives him a piggyback.
I was surprised in midweek that Gillingham dispensed with the services of Neil Harris. They were only 8th in the table, so Keith Millen is in interim charge, and Gillingham at Priestfield lead MK Dons by a 1-0. I think it's fair to say that Sutton, well, they should get their first win since the opening day. They've now raced into a 3-0 lead at home to Walsall, also in League 2. And Hearts 1-0 up against Hibs in the Edinburgh Derby in the Scottish Premiership. And Leyton Orient 1, Reading 0 is the latest score in League 1. We've been playing for half an hour. Burnley still lead by a 0-0. Tottenham earlier beat Luton 1-0. Everton lead Bournemouth by a 0-0. Brentford are 1-0 up at Old Trafford. Fulham Sheffield United, Lee Blakeman.
Fulham 0, Sheffield United 0. We haven't restarted yet, Ian, because of this serious injury to Chris Basham. He tried to put in a cross and his ankle buckled underneath him. We've got a lot of medical personnel on the pitch. Paul Heckingbottom has been over, and we've got an ambulance on standby in the corner. I'll keep you up to date, but we've stopped. It's 0-0.
Thank you. Gallagher with the cross. Fernandez brings it under control. Just as he's about to shake to shoot, Cullen slides in, takes it off his toes behind for a corner.
I'll tell you what, go back to the pre-game build-up with Statman Dave in the studio with his stats about Enzo Fernandez, and I can't remember the exact stat, but Conor Gallagher has just dinked a ball to the back post. Enzo Fernandez is unmarked, and I'm looking at that and thinking, put your foot through it. It's a free shot at goal, but he's hesitated and Cullen's got back in.
So a corner kick to Chelsea. 13 minutes to go to half-time. It's rolled short to Gallagher, back to Gallagher, curls over the cross. Good header out by Charlie Taylor. The left-back was tucked in well. Colwill wants the ball back from Caicedo, gets it over on that far side, the right, and then his cross comes in left-footed from the right-hand side, and it's a heavy cross, and it goes out of play for a goal kick. Millwall 1, Hull City 2 is a latest score in the Championship. Becky Ives with news of that.
Oh, it was horrible for Millwall at the back there. The keeper just with a back pass that went horribly wrong. He's not going to want to watch that later. But up front, it was a Hull City player that managed to find the back of the net on the rebound, kept it alive. But yeah, not fun. Don't want to watch that back later. Millwall 1, Hull City 2.
Everton Bournemouth, John Bennett.
Everton 1, Bournemouth 0, but Sean Dyche and the Everton fans getting frustrated. They're allowing Bournemouth to gain some momentum here. They've had a couple of decent half chances. Everton 1, Bournemouth 0.
England Samoa to come after the football in that final Pool D game in the Rugby Union World Cup. Burnley leading by a 0-0 here at Turf Moor, as it's with Taylor on that far side. Then he goes back, and Delcroix to Trafford, the England under-21 international goalkeeper. Amin El Dakil now has it on the edge of his own penalty box. Back to Trafford. Delcroix runs forward. Chelsea drop off, so there's no pressure on the ball at this stage, and he's able to go all the way back to Trafford.
Yeah, Burnley just completely comfortable with the pressure that Chelsea are giving them. They're dictating. You can see here Broja setting the press. They've actually just given it away.
And then the header forward by Fernandez to Gallagher. Gallagher plays it square, edge of the area. Sterling tees up Fernandez. Not one of them wanted to have the shot on goal. Tried to be threaded through by Fernandez. Blocked, comes out towards Caicedo. Plays it short. Broja with his back to goal. Inside right channel of the penalty area. Caicedo, Cucurella, back it goes. Sterling stumbles, falls. Trafford gathers it in. You wonder about the cutting edge for Chelsea, don't you?
Yeah, well, it's just those turnovers. Burnley actually gave Chelsea the ball then, and they decide to go and try and attack, and then they just come back and build again, and it's like a bit more ruthless, especially the 1-0 down.
Yeah, another goal at Celtic Park. Conor McLaughlin.
Celtic 2, Kilmarnock 0, and it was a thing of beauty from Lewis Palma, his first goal here at Celtic Park. It was an effort, just came off the back of Rio Hatate's heel. He picked it up just on the edge of the D and rifled it into the back of the net past Will Dennis. In actual fact, they're checking it right now. We're just being told for a possible offside, but as it stands right now, it's Celtic 2, Kilmarnock 0. I'll let you know what happens.
Okay, cheers, Connie. I said earlier on that flag on the far side was getting a buffeting. The wind has dropped completely. It's a still and limp flag now on what is feels like a balmy afternoon at Turf Moor, where Burnley are leading by a goal to nil. Taylor forward on that left-hand side. Cucurella, one of the Burnley substitutes, gets in the way. Cucurella is not happy. Got to be careful though. He's on a yellow card as the Chelsea defender. 10 minutes to go to half-time here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Caicedo gets the throw from Cucurella, who then goes infield towards Fernandes. Early ball up towards Broja. Thrown off the ball. Free kick for Chelsea inside their own half. How have Manchester United responded to going behind, Mas Faruqi?
Lots of possession since they went behind, but Brentford very organised and disciplined in their shape off the ball, preventing any real clear-cut chances in front of goal for United. Still Manchester United 0, Brentford 1.
Under 10 minutes then to go to the break. Here is Thiago Silva. The pace is a gentle one from the away side. Sterling back then to Colwill, and at a walking pace they now find Thiago Silva. An update from Wales, Georgia in the Rugby Union. Gareth Lewis.
Yeah, 31-19, 4 tries for Wales and a bonus point, so they will top the pool and face Japan or Argentina in the quarterfinals. 2 players now in the bin though. Taine Basham for Wales, Niniashvili, one of the Georgian try scorers, for a proper sort of 80s style rugby punch-up on the touchline. 10 minutes in the bin for them, they probably won't come back on. 31-19 Wales lead.
Thank you, Gareth. That's on Sports Extra. Here is Cucurella midway through the Burnley half. Fernandes has gone down, caught by Cullen. Here is Sterling meanwhile. Sterling fires it in, and it almost went through the legs of Trafford. It's like he sat on the ball inside the near post.
Yeah, it's excellent play from Chelsea. Starting to breach that Burnley block now. Fizzed out wide to Sterling again. Takes it on the outside of Vitinho. And then gets a shot. It looked like it was going to go through James Trafford's legs, but he held on to it. And good response from Chelsea though.
Fleetwood 0, Wycombe 2 is a latest score in League One, and Wigan are down to 10 men. Callum Lang has been sent off as they trail at Broadhall Way by a goal to nil to Stevenage. Lee Blakeman back at Fulham.
0-0, we're back underway after an 11-12 minute stoppage because of that serious ankle/lower leg injury to Chris Basham. He's been taken straight to hospital. Jack Robinson's come on. Fulham 0, Sheffield United 0.
Thanks, Lee. We've got 7 minutes in the sunshine here at Turf Moor to the break. Colwill on this near side. Back then to Thiago Silva. We've got Izzy Christiansen, former England international, Champions League winner with Lyon, where she didn't have a drop of champagne, who's with us. There's Gallagher on that far side. Plays the ball back, and Disasi. And you can see why in their 3 away games so far this season, which has been a mixed bag for Chelsea, won 1, drawn 1 and lost 1, where they've only scored 3 goals on their travels, and indeed 2 of them came in the space of 82 seconds at Craven Cottage on Monday night, because Trafford just hasn't really been overworked at all, as they want to take a quick free kick, and preventing Cucurella from doing so is going to be a yellow card to Audebert, the goal scorer. So we will go back to Everton, Bournemouth. There's been a goal, John Bennett.
Everton 2, Bournemouth 0. What a goal by Jack Harrison on his first Premier League start for the club. Punched out by Neto, edge of the box. Jack Harrison lobbed him, it hit the bar and went in. Everton 2, Bournemouth 0.
Charlton 0, Blackpool 1 is the latest score in League One. Another goal at Ipswich for Flo Pollock.
Ipswich 2, Preston 1, and wow, what a goal! Brandon Williams won the ball in his own half, ran the length of the pitch, slotted it home. Ipswich 2, Preston 1.
Chelsea in possession, still trailing by a goal to nil. Here is Enzo Fernandez. Do you think the tempo needs to be increased by Chelsea?
Definitely, they seem to be firmly in control in the building phase, but
in comes the cross, caught by Trafford.
It's just the moments when they do break a line and pass. The time that they did do it, it was Cole Palmer. He got on the half turn and fizzed it out to Raheem Sterling, and that's the moments when you then go and be ruthless. But Chelsea just seem to lack that belief of firing the ball across the 18-yard box or playing that killer pass.
Leyton Orient 1, Reading 1 is the latest score in League One, and Sutton have rattled in a 4th at home to Walsall. Sutton United 4, Walsall 0. Burnley supporters in this stand here at Turf Moor as they attack the cricket field end of the ground from left to right, in no real hurry to take it. Vitinho. Leeds United are leading Bristol City by a goal to nil. They're unbeaten at Ellen Road. We'll get news of that when we can. In fact, Ellen Ellard is at Leeds United.
Yeah, Leeds 1, Bristol City 0. It's been coming for the home side. They had all the pressure in front of goal. First shot from Joel Perreault hit the chest of Max O'Leary, pinged out to Jan James, who sent a rocket into the back of the net. Leeds United 1, Bristol City 0.
Morecambe, who are leading at Colchester United by a goal to nil, but they're down to 10 men because James Connolly has been sent off. Here in the Premier League, It's Burnley who still lead Chelsea by a goal to nil. Everton are 2-0 up at home to Bournemouth, who are still yet to win. Fulham Sheffield United is goalless, but there's been a lengthy stoppage due to a bad injury to Chris Basham. 11-minute stoppage for that one, with an ankle injury. And Manchester United 0, Brentford 1 remains the latest score at Old Trafford. 5 minutes to go to half-time. Here is Palmer, finding a pocket of space in between the lines, out towards Gallagher, right-hand side. Chelsea playing from right to left. Cucurella floats over the cross, taken away from Sterling. It was by Vitinho who was tucked in, and it goes out behind for a corner.
Yeah, a little bit increased tempo again from Chelsea, just quite comfortable. Moises Caicedo, a nice little round the corner pass, first time onto the foot of Cole Palmer, who's one of the best players I've seen on the half turn. You know, he's got the ball and changed the tempo of the game, and as a result, Chelsea corner.
Well, Cole Palmer, formerly of Manchester City, comes across to this near side the left-footed corner kick, right arm aloft, swings it over now, it's an outswinger, goes through a crowd of players. Foster's over on that far side, closed down by Gallagher, the England international, but Foster is still able to hook it away, rolls down the chest of Audebert. Cullen then plays the ball too far ahead of Foster, and it goes out of play for a throw. But Vincent Kompany is still applauding the way that his side tried to play out of defence, as we get an update from Gareth Lewis watching Wales-Georgia.
Yeah, Wales have already secured a place in the quarter-finals, top of the pool as well, and a hat-trick for Lewis Rees-Zammit, each of the tries thanks to his blistering pace, chasing a kick with a fingertip to it. 36-19 Wales lead.
My word, hold the back page. Cheltenham have finally scored in the Football League, and Robert Street has got that goal in the 39th minute as they lead Derby County by a goal to nil. They had the chance, the unenviable chance, to actually set a new Football League record today as Sterling comes forward, takes a deflection, and Chelsea are level off the unfortunate Vitinho. The cross from the left-hand side hit the body of Vitinho, looped over James Trafford, could do nothing about that. Burnley still to keep a clean sheet, but so unfortunate, and Chelsea through Sterling are level 1-1, but a Vitinho own goal.
So unfortunate. The ball again is found out on this left-hand side to Raheem Sterling. He's gone up against his full-back, and then Trezor's kind of doubled up. Raheem Sterling gets to the byline, and it's actually Al-Dakhil who's actually scored the own goal. Raheem Sterling's just cut the ball across with pace, and Al-Dakhil, how often do we see that with a centre-back? The feet positioning, a second behind the play, and it's so unfortunate. It's gone off his thigh, over the top of James Trafford. It's spun into the back of the net. Yeah. So unlucky, and so against the run of play as well.
That is cruel. A real moment of misfortune. So an Al-Dakhil own goal, and Burnley pegged back close to half-time by Chelsea, and now Enzo Fernandez look towards Sterling once again. Coutinho goes to ground. The referee is thinking about a free kick against Sterling. Had the whistle actually in his mouth, but has played the advantage as Vitinho overruns it, eventually gives it away. They now expose that gap and exploit it. Breuer with a shot, that was blocked. Picked back up by Fernandez, back to Breuer. Now Colwell outside the area. Chelsea buoyed by that equaliser. Cole Palmer tries to place an effort, that was blocked by Burnley. And now with Caicedo, and now it's with Thiago Silva. And all of a sudden, Chelsea are creating a little bit of pressure on the home side as it's back at 1-1. Coventry 0, Norwich 1. Cross comes in and it's cleared away by Burnley. Newport 0, Harrogate 1 is the latest score in League 2, and Fleetwood 0, Wickham 3 in League 1. Let's get an update from Old Trafford, Mas Faruqi.
Chances at both ends for Rashford. United's first shot on target in the 36th minute and then Mboma with a shot wide of the left-hand post at the other end. Still Manchester United 0, Brentford 1.
We've got just over 60 seconds remaining of this first half here at Turf Moor. Burnley 1, Chelsea 1. And Vincent Kompany will be bemoaning his bad luck.
Yeah, he'll be really disappointed with that. He knows that his side were much the better team so far in this first half, and the hand signals that you were alluding to earlier that Vincent Kompany was actually doing from the dugout, he's pointing to his head as if to say to his players, just keep your head, get us to half time, and then they go and concede an unfortunate goal like that. That is football for you.
Jordan Gibson has got Carlisle United level at Bolton. That's the voice of Izzy Christensen, who's with us here on BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the World Service. as that was Delcroix who just chopped down Gallagher. A free kick for Chelsea they want to take quickly. He finds Broja, right corner of the area. Find out how much added on time there will be in a moment by the fourth official, Oliver Langford, over on that far side. It's the Chelsea travelling support who you can hear away towards our right hand side. Here is Sterling, lifts it over the top for Broja. It's over his head and one bounce and it skips on through to Trafford. And here we go, 3 minutes of added on time.
It was the right idea from Raheem Sterling that time. It was himself who was popping up in that sort of central pocket, playing really narrow Chelsea. I'm not quite sure why they're not using their width enough. Colwell's really effective down this left, and obviously on the other side Cucurella, but he's naturally left-footed, playing at right back. So I seem to kind of think that Chelsea may be reluctant to play the ball into him in an attacking position.
Well, the next set of fixtures after the international break, Chelsea are going to play 7 of their Premier League games against teams that finished in the top 9 last season. So it's going to be an interesting schedule for Mauricio Pochettino, who's only lost 1 of his 11 games against Burnley as a manager, formerly of Southampton and Tottenham Hotspur. And now, of course, at Chelsea, Grimsby Town are back leading Tranmere 1, Grimsby 2 is the latest score in League 2. As the ball goes high, headed away by Delcroix. We're in stoppage time here at Turf Moor on BBC Radio 5 Live. And Cullen opens the ball out towards Vitinho. Vitinho tries to pass the ball forward. He overran it. The referee, though, is going to bring play back, and he's going to show a yellow card to Thiago Silva. So that's the 3rd Chelsea player who's been booked in this first half. Thiago Silva going in the book of Stuart Atwell on the stroke of half-time.
Yeah, he's pleading his innocence, Thiago Silva, but a man of his experience, I think he knows what he's doing. It was Vitinho just charged forward from right back. Chelsea were open, they were exposed, and it was just that, he's nicked the ball past him, Vitinho, and Thiago Silva's just stood there knowing that Vitinho's momentum's going to hit him, but he actually blocks his run.
So it'll be a free kick to Burnley in the weak autumnal sunshine here at Turf Moor that Berger's going to take inside the centre circle, and it's a right-footed ball out towards this near side for Trezor, but he was dispossessed. And then the early ball from Fernandez. Now Broja might be onside here as he runs forward on the left-hand side and he enters the penalty area, and Broja with a sight of goal, now crowded out by the claret and sky blue shirts, and Burnley actually were back in numbers very, very quickly. And there is the late flag. Offside, and ironic cheers from the Burnley players.
That is one rule which I cannot get my head around. The offside being pulled back, he was marginally offside. The through ball from Fernandez was an excellent idea, but you know, the plays continued for another 10 or 15 seconds. What happens if somebody gets injured in that time?
Yep, it's been said before, and I think players have actually been injured in that instance too. Let's get an update from Goodison, John Bennett.
Yeah, Everton 2, Bournemouth 0. The half-time whistle's just gone, but just before the half-time whistle, Dominic Calvert-Lewin hitting the bar with a header. Everton 2, Bournemouth 0.
Ball goes long by Trafford, the Burnley goalkeeper, off the head of Disasi, picked up by Foster. There was Disasi to come across, strikes the roof of the stand, and that Bob Lord stand on the far side. It cannons its way down, and the referee then blows his half-time whistle. Level pegging, Burnley 1, Chelsea 1, where Burnley had taken the lead after a quarter of an hour through Odobert, and then that cruel own goal from El Dakil bringing Chelsea level. Your thoughts, Izzy Christensen?
Yeah, Burnley been far the better team in terms of intensity of the game. They've looked really lively, especially the front three of Odobert, Trezor and Foster. They've looked really good in parts, Burnley, and really unfortunate to go in at the break.
Just as I looked across there, is that Mauricio Pochettino who has been told to come away from Stuart Atwell? Thiago Silva's also having a word with Stuart Atwell. He's on a yellow card. Clearly Chelsea are incensed with something with the official, and he's telling Thiago Silva to walk away as the coaching staff all walk across the pitch and towards the tunnel area away towards our right hand side.
Yeah, Chelsea just need to keep their heads. They're probably furious at the yellow card for Thiago Silva, but he knows exactly what he's doing. I think it's warranted.
To half-time at Turf Moor, Burnley 1, Chelsea 1.
Matt Smith has just got his 7th of the season for Salford in League 2, and they've drawn level right on the stroke of half-time at home to Crewe Alexandra. That is 1-1 there. The half-time whistle has gone at Old Trafford. I would imagine the home fans are restless. Maz Faruqi.
Yeah, boos ringing out as the half-time whistle blew here at Old Trafford, Mark, because United trail 1-0 to Brentford at half-time. Really not good from them in this first half. They needlessly gave the ball away in their own half, and a player under pressure, Andre Onana, should have done better with the Matthias Jensen strike. He got a hand to it but didn't do enough to keep it out of his own net, and we had to wait until inside the last 10 minutes of the half for United's first shot on target. That was from Marcus Rashford. Hoyland really tried to make something happen for United going forward. He perhaps should have done better and headed in at the far post in the 45th minute. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Brentford 1.
The early game in the Premier League went the way of Tottenham. Despite being down to 10 men, they beat Luton by a 1-0. Fulham Sheffield United is a 3 o'clock kickoff, but they are playing a lot of injury time at Craven Cottage. Chris Basham carried off injured with an ankle or lower leg injury. In the Championship earlier, Sunderland 0, Middlesbrough 4. To the 3 o'clock games, Flo Pollock.
Ipswich have another one. It's Ipswich 3, Preston 1. Nathan Broadhead this time with the goal. Ipswich playing wonderful attacking football, really dominating here. Still playing Ipswich 3, Preston 1.
Let's go to Craven Cottage in the Premier League. Lee Blakeman.
Fulham 0, Sheffield United 0. We've played 5 minutes of 14 that were added on because of that serious ankle injury to Chris Basham. On the pitch, it's been all Fulham. Willian with the game's best chance, through on goal. Good save by Foderingham. They're dominating possession, just lacking that bit of quality in the final third. Fulham 0, Sheffield United 0.
Kai Naismith has just scored for Bristol City at Leeds. They've drawn level at Ellen Road 1-1. We'll get details of that goal shortly. All over at the Rugby Union World Cup. Gareth Lewis.
Wales win Pool C, a bonus point win over Georgia. 6 tries. George North with the last one, with the last play of the game. A hat-trick for Lewis Rees-Zammit. A little wobble with 2 quick Georgian tries midway through the second half. But it's Japan or Argentina now in the quarterfinals for Wales.
Championship leaders lead at the break. Mike Maine.
Yeah, looking for 9 wins in 10 and starting well. Leicester 1, Stoke 0. They've been dominant in their Enzo Maresca style of play from the school of Pep Guardiola. The goal came on 24 minutes through Kelechi Iheanacho slid through on the left by Kiernan Dewsbury Hall and put the ball across goal. Stoke have barely laid the glove. I know they've got their injury problems. One header, poorly wide at the near post. 76% possession in the Foxes' favour. Leicester 1, Stoke 0.
To the Den next, Becky Ives.
Millwall 1, Hull City 2, where Millwall will be annoyed to be behind at half-time. Took the lead early on with their first shot on goal thanks to Duncan Watmore, finding the net off a free kick at a tight angle. But Jayden Philogene then equalised 15 minutes later. His first goal for Hull City, found himself one-on-one with the keeper, and a horrible mix-up at the back for Millwall meant that Adama Traore pounced for Hull City to make it 2-1. Boos have rung out at the Den at half-time. Millwall 1, Hull City 2.
Elsewhere in the Championship, Cardiff lead Watford at the break. They've won 4 of their last 5 of the home side, and Mark McGuinness's goal is the difference between the two sides. Coventry 0, Norwich 1. John Rowe with his 7th of the season. He is the top scorer for David Wagner's side. They're still playing at Portman Road, where Ipswich lead Preston by 3-1. Half-time whistle has gone at Ellen Road, and it's Leeds 1, Bristol City 1. Plymouth leads Swansea by 1-0. Luke Cundall got that. 4 for the season for him. They have been on a good run of Swansea as well. They've won their last 3, but they're behind at Home Park at the break. QPR no win in their last 5. They're in 22nd in the Championship. They've had a poor first half. They trail at Loftus Road by 2-0 to Blackburn. Tyrese Dolan and Arnor Sigurdsson with the goals there. It's goalless between Sheffield Wednesday and Huddersfield on Darren Moore's return to Hillsborough. And at St Mary's, Southampton scored early through Stuart Armstrong, and they lead Rotherham by 1-0. Half-time whistle has gone at Portman Road. Flo.
Half-time, Ipswich 3, Preston 1. Ipswich could have had about 5 in this first half, though. The first goal, Connor Chaplin, lovely volley. Preston got back into it, long ball that they've managed to finish off. But then Brandon Williams, incredible run, incredible finish. Nathan Broadhead got the third. Ipswich loving life here at Portman Road. Ipswich 3, Preston 1 at the break.
The big news in League One, the big news was that Cheltenham have scored this afternoon for the first time in 12 league games. Robert Street got it, but on the stroke of half-time, they've just conceded to Derby. Curtis Nelson has got that, but they have scored Cheltenham, and it's all square at the break between them and Derby at 1-1. In the early game in League One, Oxford beat Bristol Rovers by 2-1. Elsewhere, Bolton, who've won their last 3, are level at the break. Bolton 1, Carlisle 1. It's Charlton 0, Blackpool 1. Charlton are unbeaten under Michael Appleton, but they trail against his former club at the break, and Jordan Rhodes has got that goal, and that's 6 for the season now for Jordan Rhodes. Exeter 0, Barnsley 0. Fleetwood, another team who've won their last 2, have had a miserable first half. They trail Wycombe by 3-0. Leyton Orient 1, Reading 1. Peterborough 0, Lincoln 0. Portsmouth 0, Port Vale 0. Shrewsbury 0, Northampton 0. And Stevenage lead Wigan at the break by 1-0. And Wigan are down to 10 in that game as well. In League 2 this afternoon, we're with Notts County. They're at Barrow. Charlie Slater.
And they're leading by 1-0 thanks to a 12-minute penalty from David McGoldrick. Barrow then came into the end. They had a host of chances of their own. They probably should have taken at least one of them, but they haven't. And so Notts lead at the break at Barrow by 1-0.
Forest Green Rovers are having a miserable season. They've lost their last 5 in the league. They're next to bottom in League 2, and they trail at Accrington Stanley at the break by 1-0. Josh Andrews got that, and that's 4 for the season for him. Bradford, who sacked Mark Hughes during the week, goalless at the break at home to Swindon. It's Colchester 0, Morecambe 1, and Morecambe are down to 10 in that game as well. Crawley 0, Wrexham 1. They haven't won in their last 3, haven't Wrexham, but they lead at the break. Gillingham, another side who got rid of their manager in the week, Neil Harris, was sacked on Thursday. They lead by 1-0 over MK Dons. Macaulay Bong got that, 2 for the season for him. Goalless between Mansfield and AFC Wimbledon. Harrogate lead at Newport thanks to George Thompson's 4th of the season. Salford 1, Crewe 1. Stockport 0, Doncaster 0. Sutton are bottom of League 2. They've lost 9 of their last 10 in the league, and at the break they lead Walsall by 4-0. Amari Patrick got 1 of them, 5 for the season for him. Harry Smith has got 2 of them, and he now has 5 for the season as well. And at Prenton Park, it's Tranmere 1, Grimsby 2. In the National League, Borehamwood 0, the leaders Chesterfield 1, Ebbsfleet 0, Halifax 1, Gateshead 0, Altrincham 0, Hartlepool 1, Eastleigh 1, Kidderminster 0, Wealdstone 0, Maidenhead 0, Rochdale 1, Oldham 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 0, Oxford City 1, AFC Fylde 0, Solihull Moors 0, Aldershot 0, Woking 0, Southend 1, and York lead Bromley by 1-0 at the break. In the Women's Championship earlier, Sheffield United beat London City Lionesses by 3-1. Into the Scottish Premiership, comfortable for the leaders, Connie.
As it stands, it is, yes. Celtic 2, Kilmarnock 0. They're really in the mood today, Mark. They had a goal disallowed early on through Kyogo, but then Rio Hatate showed some great footwork and just sailed through that Kilmarnock defence. He danced past David Watson and unleashed his effort, which got the better of Will Dennis. Luis Palma made it 2 with something to warm up the home fans. The ball bounced off the back of Rio Hatate's heel, then the Honduran picked it up and fired what can only be described as a bullet into the back of the net. If it stays this way, Celtic will go 7 points clear of second place St Mirren, who play Rangers tomorrow. At half-time, Celtic 2, Kilmarnock 0.
It's the Edinburgh Derby this afternoon at Tynecastle, and Alan Forrest's goal is the difference between the two sides, with Hearts leading Hibs by 1-0. It's goalless between Livingston and Motherwell are down to 10. Dundee against Ross County postponed because of a waterlogged pitch. In the Championship, Adrionians 0, Ayr 1, Inverness 0, Partick 0, Queen's Park 0, Morton 0. Wraith in second lead the leaders Dundee United by 1-0. Dunfermline and Arbroath postponed. Cove Rangers 2, Annan 0 in League 1. Edinburgh City 0, Kelty Hearts 2. Montrose 1, Alloa 0, and Queen of the South 0, Stirling 0. In League 2, couple of games postponed again here. Bonnyrigg Rose against East Fife and Elgin versus Stenhouse Muir. So only 3 games taking place. Dumbarton are 2-0 up at Clyde. Forfar 0, Peterhead 2. And Stranraer 1, Spartans 2. The Rugby Union World Cup, Wales 43, Georgia 19 is how it finished. In the Super League playoffs earlier, Wigan are through to the grand final after they beat Hull KR 42 points to 12, so they'll take on Catalan next Saturday, and you'll hear it here on 5 Live Sport. And the Men's Cricket World Cup, earlier Bangladesh beat Afghanistan by 6 wickets, and Sri Lanka currently 155 for 5 in the 22nd over, needing a record 429 to beat South Africa. 1 minute to 4 o'clock. Here's the latest BBC News.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Good afternoon, I'm Fraser Dainton. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said the Palestinian militant group Hamas will pay an unprecedented price for their offensive across the border. Thousands of rockets were fired from Gaza, with gunmen entering Israel across land and sea. Local media is reporting that 100 people have died and 800 are injured. Tens of Israelis, both military and civilian, have been taken hostage. Fighter jets are striking targets in Gaza in retaliation. The Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas said that his people had the right to defend themselves against occupation troops. The Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem, Fleur Hassan Nahum, said the attacks by Hamas were unprovoked.
We give them tens of thousands of work permits because they don't bother to develop an economy for their own people. All they do is build tunnels and arm themselves in order to attack us. What occupation are they talking about? This excuse is wearing a little thin.
The Israeli military has said that dozens of fighter jets have carried out airstrikes on Hamas sites in Gaza and has hit 17 Hamas military compounds. It also said it's mobilised tens of thousands of reservists. The Palestinian Health Ministry says nearly 200 people have been killed in Israeli strikes, with 1,600 injured. Israel has also started an investigation into how intelligence failed to warn of the attack. A journalist in Tel Aviv, Neri Zilber, says the situation is now likely to escalate.
My fear is that this will be a Gaza, Israel, Hamas, IDF campaign like we've never seen before. There have been constant and ongoing, what they call here, rounds of escalation and conflict since roughly around the time Hamas took over the Gaza Strip. What we're likely to see in the coming days, and I fear weeks, is on a scale, an order of magnitude like nothing before.
President Netanyahu says he's spoken to US President Joe Biden, who's told him the US fully supports Israel's right to defend itself. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has said he's shocked by the Hamas attacks. France and Germany have also condemned the raids on Israel. You can keep up to date with the events as they unfold on the BBC News website and app.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman on 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
The half-time whistle has just gone at Craven Cottage because of a serious injury in the Fulham-Sheffield United game. Lee Blakeman.
Fulham 0, Sheffield United 0. We played 15 added minutes in the end because of a very serious, very nasty-looking injury to Chris Basham. On the pitch, it's been all Fulham. Willian having a great shot saved. Pereira's cleared the bar from 5 yards. Decordova-Reid has had a shot deflected over from 6. At half-time, Fulham 0, Sheffield United 0.
When I gave you the Stevenage-Wigan score, that's still playing in the first half. According to my screen, they're in the 15th minute of stoppage time in that game. Stevenage lead 10-man Wigan by a goal to nil. Let's just go to Qatar, to Doha, ahead of the Grand Prix and ahead of the sprint race this evening. Harry Benjamin.
Yeah, it's Sprint Saturday in Qatar. Qualifying for the sprint is done and dusted, and it's the two McLarens who will start the sprint from the front row. The rookie Oscar Piastri ahead of the British driver Lando Norris. Max Verstappen starts third after having a lap deleted in qualifying for track limits, but all he needs is a 6th place finish in the sprint to become a 3-time F1 world champion, regardless of where his teammate Sergio Perez finishes. Full coverage of the sprint is online, BBC Sport website and app, lights out from 6:30, and we'll be on 5 Live once all the rugby's wrapped up.
Let's go to the Men's Cricket World Cup, where I think, really, Dan Norcross, you're just waiting for the inevitable, aren't you?
We are. It's been quite entertaining waiting for it, though, because they have been smashing the ball everywhere, Sri Lanka. 22 overs, they've scored 159 for 5, but unfortunately it's for 5. They need another 270 from 167 balls to win. Sri Lanka's still there with 33, but it's going to take a miracle from here.
At the conclusion of the football, we're going to bring you the rugby. England against Samoa. It will start on Sports Extra. Chris Jones.
And England fans are flocking into the stadium nice and early on a glorious sunny day here in Lille. England have already qualified for the quarter-finals, but what an opportunity this is, with the pressure off, to really grow a bit of confidence and slickness ahead of their last 8 meeting. Because of Wales's win against Georgia in Nantes just now, they will not play the Welsh in the quarter-finals, England. They will not have that meeting with Wales. Instead, it'll likely be Fiji, providing Fiji gets something out of their game with Portugal tomorrow evening.
Thank you very much. So earlier on in the Premier League, Luton 0, Tottenham 1 was how it finished, and Tottenham have gone top of the table. for now with that win. Goalless between Fulham and Sheffield United at the break. Everton-Bournemouth is 2-0. Watch Jack Harrison's goal on Match of the Day tonight at 10:30. Fantastic goal from the former Leeds winger. Manchester United trail Brentford by 1-0 at Old Trafford at the break. They're about to bring on Christian Eriksen, and there is all to play for at Turf Moor. At the break, Burnley 1, Chelsea 1. Back to Izzy and Ian.
Thanks, Mark. I mentioned as well at the end of the first half that Pochettino had confronted the referee Stuart Atwell. He was subsequently shown a yellow card, was the Chelsea manager. So Chelsea have now had 4 yellows, 3 to the players, Cucurella, Thiago Silva and Enzo Fernandez, but Pochettino also booked. And they've made a change as well, have Chelsea. And Nicholas Jackson, who missed the Fulham game after becoming, I think, the first player to collect 5 yellow cards. So he had a 1-match ban. He's replaced Amando Broja in attack for Chelsea. So the Senegal international replacing Broja. And Burnley too have made a change. Darragh O'Shea is the player who's coming on, and Alda Keel is the player who's gone off. So the defender, who unfortunately had an own goal to give Chelsea the equaliser just before half-time, Amin Al-Dakil, the Belgian defender, is off, and Darragh O'Shea has replaced him. As the second half is underway in the sunshine here at Turf Moor on BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the World Service, with Burnley in their claret and sky blue shirts and sky blue shorts, playing from right to left as we look, with Trafford in goal. The back four now: Vitinho, O'Shea, Delcroix and Taylor. 5 in the midfield of Berger, Brownhill, Cullen, Odegaard and Trezor, and then Lyle Foster as the lone striker. And for Chelsea in their royal blue shirts and shorts and white socks, they have Sanchez in goal. Back four of Cucurella, Thiago Silva, Disasi, Colwill, Fernandes, Caicedo and Gallagher, Sterling, Palmer and Nicholas Jackson. Alongside me is Izzy Christensen, and we'll just see. Already I've seen Nicholas Jackson making a run off the ball.
Yeah, you can see exactly what message he's been given at half-time. It did look a little bit static in the first half. Broja was dropping quite deep to get on the ball. They didn't have that threat in behind, and Jackson already, you can see that he is peeling off the back shoulders of those centre-backs.
Sterling coming in field now off that left touch line. It's a right-footed cross over the head of Jackson. He was looking for the former Villarreal player, but it was over his head and scooped up by Trafford. We'll be going around the grounds as we always do in the second half. We'll keep you in touch with what's happening elsewhere before we turn our attentions to England-Samoa, which will be our next live action here on BBC Radio 5 Live in the Rugby Union World Cup. Stuart Atwell giving a free kick for a foul on Foster in the hazy sunshine. As early in the second half, Burnley, whose all 4 points have been on their travels, so they're looking to try and get their first home win of the season, as are Everton, of course. John Bennett.
Yes, Everton 2, Bournemouth 0, but Abdoulaye Doucouré had a great chance to wrap things up for Everton, threw it on goal, awful finish straight to the goalkeeper Neto. Everton 2, Bournemouth 0.
One of Izzy's former clubs, as the ball goes away and then headed forward by Caicedo. I believe Bournemouth still looking for a first win. Cleared away by Delcroix, gifted away by Trezor to Caicedo. Colwill on the left, looking to combine with Sterling. Fernandes has made the run ahead of him. Sterling then will run into that space and accelerates, brought down. Is that a penalty? Stuart Atwell says yes. Just the sheer speed of Sterling. He invited the challenge, it was inside the box, and it's a penalty to Chelsea.
Exceptional play from Raheem Sterling on that left-hand side, picking up the second half, how he finished the first, attacking Vitinho at this full-back position. It's just a quick touch in succession, takes it past Vitinho, gets him into the box, and it's the knee of Vitinho that takes Sterling down at pace. Definite penalty.
I suppose the question is, was it just inside the box? VAR, of course, will have a look. Now, Enzo Fernandez missed a penalty at West Ham United, and the ball has been placed down by Cole Palmer. So Cole Palmer, who made his Manchester City debut against Burnley, this could be another landmark moment in the career of Cole Palmer. waiting for the confirmation from VAR. He's poised, he's got his hands just behind his back, just above the waistline. Stuart Atwell, it'll be Darren Bond, the VAR. They'll be having a check. The longer it goes on, the longer you seem to think that there might be that element of doubt, because VAR is now checking the penalty, whether it was just inside. The referee Stuart Atwell has now had a word with Cole Palmer, who walks back up, readjusts the ball on the spot, and in front of that Chelsea support at the cricket field end of the ground, Cole Palmer waits for the referee's whistle. He's now moved to the left of the penalty area. Palmer up against James Trafford. Two England under 21 players who know each other very well, but Trafford goes the wrong way. He dives to his right. Palmer left-footed, puts it to the other side, and he scores his first ever goal in the Premier League. And Chelsea have come from behind, and they lead by 2 goals to 1.
Yeah, some penalty from the young boy Cole Palmer. He's given James Trafford the eyes, slotted it, calm, collected, composed, the other way. Big pressure on him at that point, dispatched easily.
Took it well, left-footed, bottom right-hand corner. Accrington lead Forest Green by 2 goals to 0. And you can hear the 1,961 Chelsea supporters in full voice away towards our right-hand side for a crowd of just over 21,500 here at Turf Moor today in the sunshine. And I mentioned earlier when they went behind that Chelsea's record of coming from behind after conceding first isn't very good, but they have done that, and they now lead by 2 goals to 1 as we go to Leicester City and Mike Minay.
Well, Stoke City 21 seconds into the second half had a glorious chance, crossing from the right, Nathan Lowe at the back post, but he headed it wide. Could have been a real shot goal. Leicester City won, the championship leaders, Stoke City 0.
Gallagher was running forward, it then fell towards Palmer, but he was in an offside position. Free kick to Burnley. And Sterling has been instrumental in both the goals now for Chelsea.
He really has. He's certainly come to form in the last few games. Obviously he missed the last game against Fulham, but he's shown signs of his quality for his new manager Pochettino, and he's definitely delivered so far today.
Left out of Gareth Southgate's England squad on Thursday. Gareth happy with his attacking options at the moment, Gareth Southgate, as Raheem Sterling waits for a potential recall, but his form has been good at the start of this season. Looking to add to his 82 caps. They've got further qualifiers in November, Malta and North Macedonia, so he can only just concentrate on his own game, but he helped with the assist for the own goal that brought Chelsea level just before half-time, and then he got the penalty that was converted by Palmer 5 minutes into the second half, and Chelsea now lead here at Burnley by 2 goals to 1. And just too quick for Vitinho. Manchester United need a response in the second half. They're still behind to Brentford. Maz Faruqi.
Just to confirm that sub, Casemiro subbed off for Christian Eriksen. United still seeing plenty of the ball, but not a lot to show for it still yet. Manchester United 0, Brentford 1.
Incidentally, because of the Rugby England Samoa, our commentary of Crystal Palace Nottingham Forest will be on Sports Extra later on. That was a poor back pass by O'Shea. Trafford actually responded ever so well under pressure to keep the ball in play. Then he forced O'Shea out wide. His clearance has gone out of play to a Chelsea throw. Just a little bit sloppy from the home team.
Yeah, a little bit rocky now for Burnley, but tell you what, I've not seen a goalkeeper keep the ball in play like that. Just a back pass from O'Shea just took James Trafford right to the byline. Looked like it was going to be a definite corner, and he kind of just hacked at the ball, didn't he, James Trafford, and managed to keep it out. It was really impressive.
Bradford City, who sacked Mark Hughes in midweek, are leading Swindon Town by a goal to 0. Kevin McDonald, formerly of this parish, the former Burnley midfielder, is in caretaker charge at Valley Parade. Here is Foster, little layoff, ball forward then. We're looking for the run through the midfield for Foster on the edge of the area, but it goes out of play. It's a Burnley throw on that right-hand side, trailing now by 2 goals to 1. Trezor will send over the cross. Thiago Silva doesn't clear it away, instead he lays it off to Colwill, and Colwill inside his own penalty area clears it up towards Jackson. challenged by two Burnley players, Delcroix and O'Shea. Now with Berger running forward, the Norwegian out towards that far side. Vitinho, the right back, forward down by the corner flag, runs towards the penalty area. 9 minutes into the second half. Ball then is stroked back towards Charlie Taylor. 30 yards out from goal, the left back in a central position. Livingston lead the 10 men of Motherwell by a goal to nil in the Scottish Premiership. Watford have equalised at Cardiff in the Championship, 1-1. And you're up to date with the goals as they go in. Taylor down the side, now for Odegaard. Running infield now, edge of the area. Odegaard tipped over. Fine save by a twisting Sanchez. Corner kick, good effort, 2-1.
Yeah, excellent again from Odegaard. You talk about wingers in this game. This is another piece of fantastic wing play. Cutting inside, whips it. And Sanchez has to guide that over the top. Twisted, like you said, on the save. Pushes it out for a corner, but my word, it's unbelievable play from Odegaard.
And the goalkeeper was equal to it. Peterborough are leading Lincoln City by a goal to nil at London Road. Plymouth 1, Swansea 1. Swansea have equalised in the Championship. Portsmouth are 1-0 up at home to Port Vale. Looking to go back top after Oxford United's 2-1 win over Bristol Rovers earlier. Ball played over to Brownhill. Corner was worked short. Taylor chips it to the edge of the box. Header away by Disasi. Now onto this near side for Caicedo. Forward ball. And it's Jackson who makes the run out towards this right-hand side and back now with Sterling. Cucurella. Colwell was making a marauding run on the left, but everybody has sort of like drifted over towards this near side, the right. Colwell still provides the width in the shadows of the Bob Lord stand. 10 minutes into the second half. And there's been another goal at Millwall. Becky Ives.
Millwall 2, Hull City 2. Joe Bryan with the equaliser from the left-hand side. Cut it back across goal, bottom right-hand corner. Millwall 2, Hull City 2.
Harrogate have got a second at Newport. Newport nil, Harrogate 2. And let's bring you news of that goal at Portsmouth with Chris Wise.
They've not been the better team, Pompey. They lead 1-0. It's their leading scorer, Colby Bishop, from short range. So Pompey, as it stands, going back to the top of the League One table. Portsmouth 1, Port Vale 0.
And that would stretch their unbeaten record in League One to 23 games for Portsmouth. It's been an excellent start to the season for them. Chelsea then, coming from behind, lead by 2-1. We've heard from Maz that Brentford still have that lead at Old Trafford. Fulham 0, Sheffield United 0, Everton 2, Bournemouth 0. Another goal at Ellen Road. Ellen Ellard.
Leeds 2, Bristol City 1. The home side have an impeccable record here, and this is why. Brilliant build-up from the team in advance of the goal. Joel Pirot picked it up on the edge of the area and sent a daisy cutter into the back of the net. Leeds 2, Bristol City 1.
Brownhill closed down by Cucurella. Another goal in the Championship. Portman Road, Flo Pollock.
A goal for Preston. It's Ipswich 3, Preston 2, so it's not all over yet. Came off a deflection, not quite sure who got the goal, but as it stands, Ipswich 3, Preston 2.
We'll bring you news of that goal scorer when we get it on that little monitor, but Flo is ahead of the computer screen away towards our right-hand side at the moment. 12 minutes into the second half. Chelsea fans making the noise. A slip by Delcroix as he hits it long over the head of Brownhill, who was trying to get forward to support Foster, and picked up by Sanchez. Let's get an update from Craven Cottage. Lee Blakeman.
A minute into the second half here because of that lengthy delay. Fulham 0, Sheffield United 0. Fulham have already had a chance. Pereira through on goal, tried a shot, edge of the area, wide of the bottom corner. Fulham 0, Sheffield United 0.
Izzy, what do you make of the game so far as we approach the hour mark?
After Chelsea got that penalty dispatched by Cole Palmer, they're just taking the enthusiasm away from Burnley by just being patient on the ball, sucking them in, and every time Burnley regain the ball they look urgent to attack, exploit spaces, but Chelsea seem somewhat in control at the moment.
So we brought you news of that goal a couple of minutes ago. Only now on the video printer as it popped up that Ben Whiteman scored for Preston North End. Ipswich 3, Preston 2. Gives you indication as to why we can say we are the fastest goal service around in the UK. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Blackburn 3, Colchester 0, Morecambe 2. Two other latest scores elsewhere around the country. As Chelsea leading by 2-1. Sterling left corner of the area. Jackson, nice little layoff. Shot comes in from Fernandes, straight at Trafford. But again, a nice interplay.
Excellent interplay. Jackson and Sterling combining really nicely. Jackson just crossed it into the path of Enzo Fernandez, and again I'm going to be harsh on Enzo Fernandez there. He has to at least trouble James Trafford from that range. See Frank Lampard wearing that number 8 shirt for Chelsea for so many years, scoring goals like that for breakfast, but tell you what, Enzo Fernandez needs to dispatch that.
Yes, he does. His only goal for the club was actually against Wimbledon in the League Cup, so he's still looking for his first goal in the Premier League. is the Argentine international, as there is going to be a change on the far side. Stuart Atwell is having to shield the sun from his eyes. It looked like they were going to bring on Koleosho, and then there's been a delay. So we've got a slight delay in proceedings here. It means we can nip to Goodison, where there's been another goal for John Bennett.
And Everton are well on their way to their first home Premier League win of the season. Everton 3, Bournemouth 0. Abdoulaye Doucouré following in after Jack Harrison's close-range header had been saved. A real great atmosphere at Goodison Park this afternoon. Everton 3, Bournemouth 0.
Expecting Roberts to come on. Sure, I saw the Koleosho as well for Burnley. The 4 teams in top flight history who've lost their first 5 home games at the start of the season: Manchester United 1930-31, Portsmouth, Bolton and Newcastle in the Premier League era. Of those 4 sides, only Newcastle United in the 18-19 campaign were not relegated when they finished 13th. So it's going to be a triple change, we understand, for Burnley. As we approach the hour mark, Caicedo running back into his own penalty area, plays it out towards Cucurella, penned in by Burnley. Down the line it goes, out of play for a Burnley throw, and maybe now the triple change will be made. So we will go to Fulham, Sheffield United, Lee Blakeman.
Fulham 0, Sheffield United 0, but Sheffield United have just had their first effort on target. Corner swung in, McBurney, free header, 10 yards out, straight at Leno, 0-0.
Thank you, Lee. So Roberts is on for Vitinho. That's like for like. We're then going to have Koleosho coming on for Trezor. He's a real live wire. Look at Koleosho, the teenage Italian. And then the third change to be made in this raft of substitutions by Vincent Kompany is Josh Cullen off, and Aaron Ramsey, the Aston Villa the former Aston Villa youngster they signed for a 5-year deal after a £12 million move, the younger brother of Jacob. He was the 13th summer signing for what was a really busy time for Burnley in the window. So a triple change has been made, and there's been another goal elsewhere, and it's at Fratton Park. Chris Wise.
It's another one for Portsmouth, it's another one for Colby Bishop. 2-0 they lead Port Vale, this one from the penalty spot after Vale were penalised for handball. So Portsmouth and that big unbeaten run look like they go on 2-0.
61 minutes played. Burnley looking for an equaliser, trailing by 2-1, unable to keep the ball in play. It'll be a Chelsea throw deep inside the Burnley half. Salford 2, Crewe 1, a second goal of the afternoon for Matt Smith. Newport 1, Harrogate 2, so Newport have a goal back. Hearts 2, Hibs 0, a Christian Doidge own goal in the Edinburgh derby at Tynecastle. Fleetwood 1, Wickham 3, and you're up to date with the goals as they go in. The Rugby Union to come after the football, England Samoa, to be followed by the sprint in the 5 Live Formula 1 in Qatar, out in Lusail, and Ireland-Scotland in that crucial game in the Rugby Union World Cup from 7:30. Palace Nottingham Forest incidentally on Sports Extra, and then after the Rugby Union of Ireland-Scotland, live boxing on 5 Live. Lee Wood and Josh Warrington from the 5 Live boxing team. So still a lot of live sport to keep us all occupied on this Saturday. Here we are though in the sunshine at Turf Moor. 62 minutes played, and Chelsea looking to build on that win at Fulham on Monday night. Livingston 2, Motherwell 0 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. It was October of last year where they last had back-to-back wins away from home. Crystal Palace and Aston Villa. Now it'll be Craven Cottage and Turf Moor. And I mentioned that excellent record that they have here at this particular ground. That could well continue for beleaguered Burnley, as Gallagher out now to Palmer. Strong running from Palmer, carrying the ball forward and then carrying the ball out of play. One touch too many.
Yeah, he did really well, Cole Palmer. Yeah, he just dribbled it out of play. Not often we see that from him.
Manchester United, Brentford, an update. Maz Faruqi.
2 more substitutions for Manchester United goal. Nacho and Anthony on for Mount and Rashford, and Dalot has had to clear off the goal line as well. Still Manchester United 0, Brentford 1.
You certainly think back to that excellent save from Sanchez, don't you, from a Chelsea point of view?
Yeah, you do, because Chelsea again right now just dictating the play, using Moises Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez just to bounce the ball around between the centre-backs, just teasing Burnley out of their shape, just taking away, like I said earlier, the enthusiasm of Burnley, because fans are pretty strong as well.
Yeah, they are. They're still singing away in that stand away towards our right. Gillingham 2, MK Dons 0. So Keith Millen in interim charge. Have got a second goal there at Priestfield. And Fleetwood in League One, who are trailing at home to Wycombe by 3-1, are now down to 10 men as Blackburn have got a fourth at Queen's Park Rangers. So Blackburn, who've lost their last 4, are bouncing back in fine style, but it'll be without a win in 6 now for Queen's Park Rangers. 64 minutes played, BBC Radio 5 Live, World Service and BBC Sounds, and Charlie Taylor looking to try and take a throw, just almost on the halfway line for Burnley. Not a great deal of movement for him. He then passes the ball inside, and then that was for Aaron Ramsey. It's chipped out towards that far side by Trafford as Jackson looked to put pressure on the Burnley goalkeeper. It's no longer goalless at Craven Cottage. Lee Blakeman.
Fulham 1, Sheffield United 0. Great counter, Pereira, low ball in from the left, nicely finished off by Bobby Decordova-Reid. 53 played, Fulham 1, Sheffield United 0.
Ball given away, Gallagher towards Sterling. Sterling takes it in his stride, and emphatic finish by Raheem Sterling that surely wraps up the points for Chelsea. And Raheem Sterling has been so influential here today for Chelsea. Burnley 1, Chelsea 3, super goal.
I tell you what, that is some finish from Raheem Sterling on his left foot. Across James Trafford, nestled into the side netting. And all the players have gone towards Raheem Sterling, but the 3 defenders have stayed next to Moises Caicedo, who actually won the ball back to create that chance. You can see his aggressive midfield play, it's Conor Gallagher on the front foot, who slips in Raheem Sterling. It's a superb finish, like an arrow.
Left-footed across the goalkeeper into the right-hand side of the net. Chelsea have certainly showed their quality. Tranmere 2, Grimsby 2, Fleetwood 1, Wycombe 4, and Colchester 0, Morecambe 3. Latest scores elsewhere, but Chelsea now leading by 3-1. And for Burnley, it is a long way back now after taking the lead. Pegged back in unfortunate fashion with that El Dakil own goal, but in the second half, as there needs to be a restart in the centre circle, because that's a late one. They'd actually restart without the permission of the referee, so they're checking for a possible offside for Raheem Sterling. I thought he was onside. Jackson might be in an offside position.
Yeah, you're bang on, Ian. It's Jackson who is stood offside. You can see the lines on the pitch. They don't really want to talk too much about VAR lines.
Well, everything now is to do about the accuracy rather than the length of time that it takes after what happened at Tottenham last week. Stuart Atwell is telling the Chelsea players to walk away, but technically the game did restart. The referee will of course say I didn't blow my whistle, but maybe that's what the Chelsea players are trying to point out to Stuart Atwell.
Yeah, Raheem Sterling does not look offside to me. I don't know why it's taking so long, but I guess the angle that we've got, I'm just looking at it.
The angle that we've got on the tiniest monitors that you could possibly wish to see. It's a miniature monitor. But this is going to take time, as long as they get to the right decision. And then eventually they do. And Chelsea's goal does stand. Burnley 1, Chelsea 3. But you've had Gareth Southgate saying this week that he's not really a fan of VAR. Ange Postecoglou saying he's not a fan of VAR. And once again, the joy temporarily was suspended for those Chelsea supporters before play could restart. But midway through the second half, and Chelsea lead by 3-1. Plymouth 1, Swansea 2 is the latest score in the Championship. So Swansea looking to make it 4 wins on the spin at Home Park. And Wrexham are down to 10 men. They are still leading away at Crawley by 1-0, but Andrew Cannon has been sent off. I would imagine as well that with Chelsea leading comfortably now by 3-1, we will get to the Rugby Union as it stands for most of the game here on 5 Live, as Palmer cuts in now off the right hand side. Fernandes takes over. So this is where the BBC Sounds app comes into to play, because if you want the conclusion of the football, then we'll of course bring it to you, but on World Service, which you can find just by changing the dial on the BBC Sounds app, as the Chelsea supporters are all just bouncing up and down away in that right hand side. I can imagine the Brentford fans doing that if it stays like this at Old Trafford. Masfarouki.
Yeah, pause and play at the moment for treatment for the Brentford keeper. Some really poor chances for Manchester United. A free kick from 30 yards out, just blasted straight out of play by Christian Eriksen. Still Manchester United 0, Brentford 1.
That rugby union game, England-Samoa, by the way, underway at 4:45. To be followed by the Formula 1, then Ireland-Scotland, and then the boxing. Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest is on Sports Extra. They're rattling through the latest scores elsewhere around the grounds. We're midway through the second half, though, here at Turf Moor. We'll stay with the football for as long as we can. Koleosho, though, loses the ball and picked up by Sterling. And now with Jackson. Jackson picks it up. Nice little footwork, nice little spin and turn away with the ball glued to his foot. And then adjudged to have been fouled by Koleosho, and it's a free kick to Chelsea.
That was some turn by Nicholas Jackson. Maradona in the middle of the pitch to evade 3 defenders. It's not bad at all.
And there's another goal at the Edinburgh Derby, and Hibs have got a goal back. Hearts 2, Hibs 1 as we go to Craven Cottage. Lee Blakeman.
Fulham 1, Sheffield United 0, but we should have had an equaliser. Dear me. Archer with the cross from the left. McBurney, full stretch, just couldn't quite get the touch from 5 yards out. Still Fulham 1, Sheffield United 0.
Everton lead Bournemouth by 3-0. Brentford are leading at Old Trafford by 1-0 earlier. Tottenham going top of the table after a 1-0 victory at Luton Town despite being down to 10 men. As we'll get a taster of what the atmosphere is like in Lille with Chris Jones.
Building up, a few England fans still stuck outside in long queues here. So let's hope they're in for kick-off in 15 minutes. England back in the tunnel. What a chance for them to build confidence ahead of their quarter-final next weekend. And no doubt a special afternoon for Owen Farrell, the England captain, just 2 points away from being England's all-time record point scorer.
You'll hear it here on BBC Radio 5 Live, that final game in Pool D, live in Lille. 5 Live Sport. 19 minutes remaining. The Chelsea fans taunting their Burnley counterparts. Is this a library? Certainly haven't had much to shout about so far. It could get worse for them. Here is Palmer trying to wriggle his way through into the penalty area. Stopped by Delcroix. Clears it long. And there is Disasi.
Tell you what, since Conor Gallagher's been wearing that armband for Chelsea, his performances, like, he might not be the most creative, got the most kind of style on the ball, but I tell you what, he puts in a shift and a half. I remember watching him play when he was on loan for Crystal Palace against Man City, and I'm a bit of a geek about stats. He covered 14 kilometres in that game. I tell you what, hard work beats talent.
You're going to rival Statman Dave, are you?
Maybe with that one, yeah.
Under 19 minutes remaining. Sunshine at Turf Moor, sunshine on Leith, but all the sorrow is for Hearts because they were 2-0 up, and yet Hibs have pegged them back. Hearts 2, Hibs 2, Kilmarnock have got a goal back at Celtic Park. Celtic 2, Kilmarnock 1 is a latest score in the Scottish Premiership. We'll bring you news of that when we can. As team news now from Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest at Selhurst Park.
3 changes apiece for Roy Hodgson's 400th Premier League game as manager. He gives a rare start to Nathaniel Klein at right back. Top scorer Edson Edouard comes back too. And Jarro Riedewald makes his first Premier League start in over 2 years. Steve Cooper's without Taiwo Awoniyi, so Chris Wood leads the Forest line today. Morgan Gibbs-White is back, and Harry Toffolo replaces the suspended Niakate.
Thank you, Conor. Conor McNamara being joined by Ray Houghton. Commentary of that on Sports Extra. Rob Nothman will provide the updates into the Rugby Union of England Samoa. We've got 18 minutes remaining. Salford 3, Crewe 1. Second goal of the afternoon for Jordan Gibson, and Carlisle United, who have only had 1 win in 13, have come from behind at Bolton Wanderers. Bolton Wanderers 1, Carlisle 2 is the latest score in League 1. All the noise emanating from the end away towards our right. Chelsea are leading by 3-1. As here is Cucurella, runs up towards the halfway line. Palmer just nonchalant stroke of the right boot in towards Fernandez, out towards Sterling, who's been a real threat. Colwell on the charge forward, his cross into the penalty area. Taylor off the chest, almost caught in possession by Palmer, manages to get the ball away. Here is Ramsey coming under pressure from Fernandez, and now Taylor will clear, but they haven't been able to generate the same level of threat as they had in the first half, is it?
Absolutely not. Chelsea have managed to control the game. I've been really impressed with Jackson since he's come on. Earlier on in the season he was drifting deeper and deeper to get on the ball, but all I've seen him do since he's came on at half-time is running behind, split the two Burnley centre-backs. He's been a real threat, and it's actually opened up more opportunities for him inside the 6-yard box, which is exactly what you want from a striker.
That's the voice of Izzy Christiansen, the former England international, as Disasi's just been shown a yellow card for kicking the ball away, and Blackpool have got a second goal in League One at the Valley. Charlton Athletic 0, Blackpool 2 is a latest score. Here is Taylor. Let's get news of the Kilmarnock goal with Conor McLaughlin.
Yeah, Celtic 2, Kilmarnock 1, and it's totally against the run of play. David Watson had got one back for the visitors. There'd been calls for a tug on Cameron Carter-Vickers' jersey. The referee said no, but so the goal stands. It is potentially the lifeline Kilmarnock were looking for. Celtic 2, Kilmarnock 1.
Sterling away. Sterling now with a cross on the left-hand side. It might reach Palmer. Palmer waits, strokes it back inside. Here is Jackson. Good footwork, and the finish too. Excellent play by Nicholas Jackson. It's turning into a rout. Chelsea have got a fourth, and Burnley will become the 5th side in top flight history to lose their 5 successive home games at the start of the season. Burnley 1, Chelsea 4.
A Chelsea number 9 doing what a 9 should be doing. Inside the 6-yard box, a real threat. The ball fell to Palmer. The ball came over from Sterling originally. It fell to the back post, where Cole Palmer received it on the right, chopped back in onto his left. He looked like he was going to shoot, fed in Nicholas Jackson, and Nicholas Jackson has sold the whole Burnley defence with a chop, and he slotted it with his left foot it was almost the middle of the net. Just watching a replay, it's fantastic. You've got to watch that back later.
Well, they've been different class this second half, haven't they, Chelsea?
They've been ruthless. It's that front three, and you've also got Mudryk on the bench. But Nicholas Jackson, he's come in and he's bound the two outside of him much better than Broja did in the first half. But not to disregard what Broja did, but this is wonderful play by the 3 front players of Chelsea.
And it means now that 5 home games this season, Burnley will have lost all 5, scored 4 and conceded 16. Let's get an update from Old Trafford. Maz Faruqi.
Bruno Fernandes had a decent strike from the D straight at the Brentford keeper though, and Ten Hag has brought off Lindelof, a defender, for Martial, an attacker. Time running out for United. They still trail by a 0-0 to Brentford.
We have 15 minutes remaining here at Turf Moor. These are the latest scores in the Scottish Premiership. Celtic 2, Kilmarnock 1. Dundee Ross County postponed. Hearts 2, Hibs 2. Livingston lead the 10 men of Motherwell by 2 goals to 0. An update from Goodison, John Bennett.
Everton 3, Bournemouth 0. Bournemouth not giving this up. They've just had an effort saved off the line by McNeil. Jack Harrison coming off, getting a standing ovation after his fantastic goal this afternoon. Everton 3, Bournemouth 0.
Latest scores in League 2. Accrington 2, Forest Green 0. Barrow 0. The leaders Notts County 1. Bradford City under Kevin McDonald as their caretaker manager, leading still by a 0-0 against Swindon Town. Colchester United 1, Morecambe 3. Morecambe are down to 10 men, as are Wrexham, but they're still leading 1-0 away at Crawley Town. Gillingham 2, MK Dons 0 after they sacked Neil Harris during the week. Mansfield, who are still unbeaten, drawing with Wimbledon 0-0. Newport County 1, Harrogate Town 2. Salford City 3, Crewe 1. Stockport Doncaster is goalless at Edgeley Park. Sutton United on course for their first win since the opening day. 4-0 they lead Walsall. Tranmere Rovers 2, Grimsby 2. They're the latest scores in League 2. Latest scores in League 1 of the Championship to come. 13 minutes remaining. Celebrating Chelsea fans still making all the racket here at Turf Moor as their side lead by 4 goals to 1. And we told you Colchester 1, Morecambe 3, no other scores elsewhere. So these are the latest scores in League 1. Result was Oxford United 2, Bristol Rovers 1. They did go top, however Portsmouth are going to replace them because Portsmouth at Fratton Park are leading 2-0 at home to Port Vale. Elsewhere, Bolton 1, Carlisle United 2, Charlton 0, Blackpool 2. Cheltenham have scored their first goal as Koleosho comes forward, and then Odobert hits it first time, blocked, comes back to Odobert, enters the penalty area, referee's blown his whistle, shot takes a deflection, off target anyway, stoppage in play. So yeah, finally Cheltenham have scored a goal. They did take the lead but been pegged back by Derby. 1-1, Exeter 0, Barnsley 0, Fleetwood 1, Wickham 4, Fleetwood down to 10 men, Leyton Orient 1, Reading 1. Peterborough United unbeaten in 5 are leading Lincoln City by a 0-0, Portsmouth 2, Port Vale 0, Shrewsbury 0, Northampton 0. Shrewsbury without a win or a goal indeed in their previous 5 games. Stevenage lead the 10 men of Wigan Athletic by a 0-0. Championship scores to come. Free kick though to Burnley. Izzy Christiansen.
Yeah, it's the first sign of Koleosho, who's come on moments, 15 minutes ago, his first real kind of glimpse he's had, and he dinked a wonderful ball to his opposite winger, Odebear, who's volleyed it, and I'm convinced that would have nestled into the back of the net had it not been blocked by Caicedo. But Burnley have got a free kick in a really nice looking position as a result.
Burnley are going to make a change in Odebear, who gave Burnley the lead. Seems a long time ago now that they're trailing by 4 goals to 1, but Wilson Odebear is coming off, and the player who's going to be coming on is the former Borussia Dortmund player, Jakob Brun-Larsen. Goal at Fulham, Lee Blakeman.
Equaliser for Sheffield United. It's 1-1. Ball in from the left. Anthony Robinson facing his own goal and put it straight through it. A quarter of the game to go. Fulham 1, Sheffield United 1.
Manchester United, remember, are still trailing at home to Brentford by 1-0. Everton are on course for 3 points, leading Bournemouth by 3 goals to 0. Chelsea lead here 4-1, but it's a free kick and for Burnley, and it's going to be Brun-Larsen, the substitute, who's going to take it. There's everybody back. It's Brun-Larsen into the wall. Chelsea had everybody back there, as there's been a goal at Leicester. Mike Miney.
And a decisive one as well with 10 minutes to go. Leicester 2, Stoke 0. A tap in for the substitute Jamie Vardy, his 4th of the season, and that's job done for the Championship leaders. 2-0.
So Burnley have got a corner kick. What a bad week it could be for Erik ten Hag. His side looking at a 3rd straight defeat at home. Still trailing. Brownhill with the corner kick from the left-hand side. Out it goes. Picked up then by Roberts. Koleosho. Nimble, lively. Crosses. Disasi heads it away from his own goalkeeper, Sanchez. And then Gallagher will try and keep the ball in play, and it actually succeeds. Prods it away only as far as Roberts, left side of the penalty area for Burnley. Back it then goes towards Brownhill. Dangles his foot over the ball, right-footed, out towards Koleosho, blocked by Gallagher. Still defending well, Chelsea, is he?
Yeah, they are, and it's coming from the captain again. Conor Gallagher's work rate, his energy, the way he gets up to the ball. I spoke about it in the first half. Chelsea weren't really putting any real pressure on Burnley, but tell you what, Conor Gallagher has led his team. Real intensity to his game, and the way that kind of inspires the rest of his team.
In comes the throw from Roberts. It's a long one, headed on by Berger, cleared away by Disasi, drops back to Brownhill, heads it forward, and then absolutely clattered into the air, and then it drops a long way behind, out of play for another corner. We'll go to Portman Road. Flo Pollock.
Ipswich 3, Preston 2. Still Preston have done well to get back in this game, though. Next goal definitely will be key. We've got 15 minutes remaining. Ipswich 3, Preston 2.
Corner taken short to Koleosho. Oh, that moved in the air, might have taken a deflection. In the end, it struck a knee of Sanchez and then diverted behind for a corner.
Yeah, real fizzer in there from Koleosho, and that's actually Sanchez has put his leg down. Unconventional save, but he's had to react late. He does well. But Koleosho now showing signs growing into this game.
England-Samoa will be underway in about 4 minutes' time. Coverage of that is now on Sports Extra as Brownhill with the corner kick headed out. It'll be collected on that central area by Roberts, and then once the football's finished, it'll be here. So if you want the uninterrupted coverage, Sports Extra, and then we'll switch to 5 Live, because at 5:30 on Sports Extra we'll have commentary of Palace against Nottingham Forest as we balance the live sport through BBC Radio 5 Live. BBC Sounds, of course, is perfect to listen to the coverage as you travel, and if you're listening to that now, you'll hear us travel all the way to Suffolk for another goal. Flo Pollock.
Next goal was key. I said that it's gone to Ipswich. Ipswich 4, Preston 2. Caden Jackson finished off a fine move. Ipswich 4, Preston 2.
Back to Leeds United, Ellen Ellard.
Still Leeds 2, Bristol City 1. A fast paced second half. Somerville has hit the bar. Reuter has found the back of the net, but the flag was up. Bristol City still just with the one shot on target. Leeds 2, Bristol City 1.
Accrington 2, Forest Green 1. Celtic 3, Kilmarnock 1. Southampton 1, Rotherham 1. So Rotherham, who've lost all 6 away from home, have got an equaliser at St Mary's. Chelsea have made a change. Sterling has gone off, and Mudryk, who was subbed at half-time with a thigh injury on Monday night, Ukrainian, is on as the referee blows his whistle offside. It'll be a free kick to Chelsea. If I was to ask you for a man of the match, would it have been Raheem Sterling?
Yeah, likely so. Him or Cole Palmer's been excellent as well, I must say. But yeah, Raheem Sterling definitely stand out. He's had goal involvements almost in all 4, actually.
There's a penalty at Barrow, Charlie Slater.
And Barrow have equalised through Dean Campbell from the Sport. 79 minutes into the game. They've trailed from a Notts penalty after 12 minutes. They've finally got a leveller. It's Barrow 1, Notts 1.
Stockport County have taken the lead at home to Doncaster Rovers. Stockport 1, Doncaster 0. We have 7 minutes remaining. Manchester United. This is a story that will create the headlines, Mats Faruqi.
7 minutes to go. Manchester United still trail by a goal to nil and a couple of really good chances for Brentford to win it. 2 chances over the crossbar, tipped over by Onana. Brentford with another corner though on the far side. Still Manchester United 0, Brentford 1.
Because of the live commentary of the rugby union to come, it's currently on Sports Extra, England Samoa. If you want the reaction to today's games, then the 5 Live Football Daily will provide that. Match of the Day, of course, will be on BBC One a little later on tonight. We've got 6 minutes remaining of normal time. Still got to give you the latest scores in the Championship, but Manchester United behind. Fulham and Sheffield United drawing, Everton leading. Earlier Tottenham beat Luton Town by a goal to nil. The results in the Championship in the Weir Tees derby was Sunderland 0, Middlesbrough 4. Dan Neil sending off was the turning point early in the second half, but Michael Carrick and his team now really are in excellent run of form. 5 straight wins now for Michael Carrick and Middlesbrough. The latest scores in the Championship: Cardiff 1, Watford 1, Coventry 0, Norwich 1, Ipswich 4, Preston 2, Leeds United still unbeaten at Ellen Road, leading Bristol City by 2 goals to 1. Leicester City the leaders, 2-0 up at home to Stoke City. Millwall 2, Hull City 2, Plymouth 1, Swansea 2, Queen's Park Rangers 0, Blackburn 4, Sheffield Wednesday and Huddersfield. Darren Moore, of course, against his old club, still yet to win as the Huddersfield manager. Neil Thompson is the caretaker boss at Wednesday. That's 0-0 at Hillsborough. And Southampton 1, Rotherham 1, as Cole Palmer might have just picked up a little bit of a knock to his right leg as he ran forward here. Is he, Christiansen?
Yeah, the ball just turned over again. Really lazy play. I think it was Delcroix who gave the ball away, and then he was recovering. It was 1v1 between him and Cole Palmer, but Cole Palmer's actually just gone down. I think he's got a knock.
Yeah, that knock to the right leg, but they're going to play on. But Charlton have got a goal back. Charlton 1, Blackpool 2. Let's get an update from Fratton Park. Chris Wise.
Portsmouth 2, Port Vale 0. We're in the final 5 minutes. Both the goals from Colby Bishop. So Pompey going back to the top of the League One table, and they're going to be 23 league games unbeaten. Portsmouth 2, Port Vale 0.
England Samoa coming up to be followed by the Formula One. Then the Scotland Ireland game also in the rugby union, and then the live boxing, Lee Wood against Josh Warrington. That's just on 5 Live as Ian Matson's going to be coming on, and he's going to be replacing Cole Palmer, and it's a bit of a mixed reception for him, because of course he had a loan spell here. He helped Burnley to the title, 5 goals in 42 appearances. He did have an opportunity to join Burnley as they look to add to their 15 new players and the £105 million that they spent, but he decided to stay at Stamford Bridge, and that's the reason why he's getting a bit of a mixed reception as he replaces Cole Palmer. And we'll bring you news of that other goal with Connie at Celtic.
Yes, Celtic 3, Kilmarnock 1. Greg Taylor restoring Celtic's cushion. The cross came in from the corner. It took a nick off Robbie Dees, I think it was. Fell to the feet of the right back and he stabbed it into the back of the net. Remember, Celtic will 7 clear if it stays this way. Celtic 3, Kilmarnock 1.
Charlton have fought back. Charlton 2, Blackpool 2, Peterborough 2, Lincoln City 0. Our 2 latest scores in League One. 3.5 minutes remaining. And in the Premier League, on this Saturday afternoon, Chelsea leading here 4-1, Everton 3 up against Bournemouth, 1-1 Fulham Sheffield United. But still, that Matthias Jensen goal after 26 minutes is the difference between Manchester United and Brentford, as Mudryk storms into the penalty area, finds Jackson backheels the ball after a poor first touch, look towards Enzo Fernandez, cleared away by Brownhill. The throw taken quickly by Chelsea to the blonde-haired Mudryk. Inside then to Fernandez, and with under 3 minutes remaining, Chelsea keep the ball. Back to Fulham we go. Lee Blakeman.
Fulham 2, Sheffield United 1. Tom Kearney on as a substitute, tried a shot, it deflected onto the bar, hit Fodringham on the back, and in it went. Fulham 2, Sheffield United 1.
So they've conceded 12 in their last 3 games now of Sheffield United, still yet to win the 1 point. Burnley, no home comforts, although it must be said the difficult start that they've had in terms of the opposition that they've faced.
They've had an incredibly difficult start, Ian, but they've certainly put a good account of themselves, especially in the first half. Vincent Kompany can look at that back and go take big learnings from that in terms of how they played and how they dominated a side which is full of top players.
They're underway in the rugby in Lille. That's on Sports Extra. England Samoa. We'll be there as soon as the football is finished here at Turf Moor. Still in the sunshine, Taylor. But for Burnley, well, it does get a little bit easier, if there is such a thing in the demands of the Premier League. But given the opposition that they've faced in these opening set of fixtures after the international break, Brentford, Bournemouth, Everton, although that's in the League Cup, and then Palace at home in early November. So Burnley will be under pressure in those games in particular to get points on the board. Manchester United are under pressure just to get a goal. Mazfarouki.
Yeah, and they've had the ball in the back of the net. It's been ruled out on the field. Garnacho wheeling away, celebrating after the ball came back out to him after Bruno Fernandes free kick. But yeah, the VAR are going to take a very long look at this, Ian. Come back to me.
Swansea now lead Plymouth by 3-1 in the Championship. That will be 4 straight wins for Swansea. But here, a lot of the Burnley supporters now are drifting to the exits after seeing their side take the lead, but then concede 4 goals, 3 of them in the second half. And you'll see this, the save on Match of the Day later by Sanchez. That was a really good save, because that was when Burnley looked to try and get back at 2-2, and then since then the quality of Chelsea in that final third, and as you said, Izzy, ruthless.
Yeah, and also Burnley made a triple change, and I'm sure that Vincent Kompany made that with an intent to completely switch the momentum of the game, and it just hasn't. And we obviously didn't mention Koleosho until about 20 minutes in, after he'd come on.
Well, Chelsea leading 4-1, keeping the ball very, very well, and still Burnley yet to keep a clean sheet in all of their last 16 games against Chelsea. Barnsley lead Exeter by 1-0. Norwich have got Coventry have got an equaliser at home to Norwich. Coventry 1, Norwich 1. MK Dons have got a goal back at Gillingham. Gillingham 2, MK Dons 1 is the latest score in League 2. We're into stoppage time here, for which there will be 7 minutes. How long do you have left at Old Trafford, Mazfarouki?
6 minutes, we're into that now, and that United goal was scrapped because Martial was offside in the build-up. So it's still Manchester United 0, Brentford 1, 6 minutes of stoppage time.
Shrewsbury have scored their first goal in 6. It could produce their first win in 6 as they lead Northampton by 1-0 in injury time in League 1. It's a free kick for Chelsea, playing from left to right, leading by 4-1. And that electronic board with the bright red digit that showed the number 7 have added on minutes to be played here at Turf Moor is a further cue for the Chelsea supporters to avoid the cues as they look to nip away early after seeing their side thrashed here by Chelsea, trailing by 4-1. BBC Radio 5 Live. They're underway in the rugby in Lille. Commentary of that is on Sports Extra. As soon as the football's done and dusted, we'll have commentary with Chris Jones and the team live here on 5 Live. But Taylor now out towards Brun Larsen. Vincent Kompany just watches, standing tall with his baseball cap, watching on, and will face similar questions once again as the ball is lifted over the top towards Brun Larsen. But he doesn't seem to be somebody, and you'll know him well, Izzy, who shirks and uses excuses, Vincent Kompany.
No, definitely not. He's a winner. He spoke before this game about it was nice for his team to have a taste of winning in the Premier League on Tuesday night, but he said, I had plenty of that as a player. He's certainly not being arrogant saying that, he knows, but I think he's really intelligent, and yeah, it was lovely before when I saw him before the game. You know, really nice sort of comments about me and stuff. You know, what a man, lovely gentleman.
It was. I was alongside of you to witness that. It was a nice embrace and lovely words from Vincent Kompany. But he's going to be the 4th manager to lose his first 5 Premier League games at home. Mick McCarthy 2003, Terry Connor 2012, and Chris Ramsey, the Queen's Park Rangers, some 8 years ago. And it'll be a 7th successive home defeat for Burnley in the Premier League. Salford 4, Crewe 1 is the latest score in League 2. The ball up towards Jackson. Certainly, as he was saying, his introduction at the start of the second half has made a change for Chelsea, replacing Broja. As the full-time scores start to come in now here on BBC Radio 5 Live. But Manchester United still looking at what would be a terrible week for Erik ten Hag, still trailing at home to Brentford by 1-0. However, there has been a late goal, Mazfarouki.
And it's for Scott McTominay. Manchester United back in this. And again, just having a look there, I think the effort has been allowed on the field. VAR officials having another look, but Scott McTominay at the moment has put Manchester United back level in this game in stoppage time. 1-1 between them and Brentford.
Well, he's popped up with some important goals for Scotland. For Steve Clarke this season, that would be his first of the season, and it could salvage a point there for Manchester United. 1-1 at Old Trafford. Fulham leads Sheffield United 2-1. Everton 3, Bournemouth 0. Here is Brownhill looking for a consolation. Foster with a shot off target. Goal kick. Chelsea still lead 4-1.
Yeah, Foster's been excellent today, but he's been, he's had not much service. He hasn't had a supply line in the second half, and just here gets the ball inside the box. Touch out of his feet, and he's looking for that top corner, rolls it round Thiago. It's not a bad finish with not much backlift on the shot.
Celtic are 7 points clear at the top of the Scottish Premiership after beating Kilmarnock by 3-1. Playing out from the back, Burnley now look to try and put pressure on Disasi, gives the ball away, it rolls out for a throw. Leyton Orient 2, Reading 1 is the latest score in League One, but full time at Goodison, John Bennett.
Everton 3, Bournemouth 0, clinical from the home side. Goals for Garner and Harrison first half, Doucouré second half. Harrison's goal was special, a lob over the goalkeeper. Everton end a run of 4 straight home defeats. Everton 3, Bournemouth 0.
Cross swung over by Taylor, caught by Sanchez. It's still scoreless in the early stages in Lille in that Rugby Union World Cup match, currently on Sports Extra. It's coming up here on 5 Live between England and Samoa. Salford 4, Crewe 2 is a latest score in League 2 as Sanchez plays the ball out, and let's get confirmation of that full-time score from Connie at Celtic Park.
Yeah, Celtic 3, Kilmarnock 1. Comfortable afternoon for the Scottish champions. Goals from Hatate, Palma and Taylor the difference. A consolation from Watson means Celtic are now 7 clear of St Mirren and 9 of Rangers. It finished Celtic 3, Kilmarnock 1.
We have 2 minutes remaining of added on time here. There's been a sending off at Broadhall Way. Stevenage are down to 10. Alexander McDonald as they still lead Wigan by 1-0 as the ball runs through towards Sanchez. Let's get an update from Fulham. You'll have a little bit of time remaining, Lee Blakeman.
5.5 to go plus stoppage time. Fulham 2, Sheffield United 1. It should be all over because Wilson for Fulham has just tried a curler from 22 yards out and it's come back off the post. Fulham 2, Sheffield United 1.
Ball played out by Sanchez, given away, but referee's given a free kick in favour of Chelsea. So we've got just over 60 seconds remaining of added on time. Izzy Christensen, what are your thoughts on the overall game?
Excellent first half on Burnley. Unfortunate to go in at the break 1-1 after conceding that unfortunate own goal. But then obviously in the second half, Chelsea came out, showed their class. Raheem Sterling in particular, Cole Palmer, exceptional. They destroyed the Burnley backline in the second half and fully deserved Chelsea this win, but some positives to take for Burnley as well.
Well, Sanchez is unable to collect that back pass from Caicedo under pressure. It's run off his toe end and out for a corner kick to Burnley, but Chelsea inside these last 60 seconds lead by 4-1. We'll get we were going to go to Barrow, but there's been another late goal at Old Trafford, and the noise tells us who. Mesfarouki.
Can you believe it? He's come on and he scored the second as well in the 96th minute. 2 goals in 3 minutes for Scott McTominay, turning this match on its head. Manchester United 2, Brentford 1 in the final seconds here at Old Trafford.
England are leading Samoa by 5-0 in Lille in that Rugby Union World Cup game. Currently on Sports Extra, it's coming up here on 5 Live. But Chelsea lead by 4-1, and Manchester United turning it around right at the end there at Old Trafford as the ball comes out towards Taylor. He hasn't scored for 8 years and he's absolutely skied it. Let's check in on the leaders of the Championship. Mike Minay.
Full time, Leicester 2, Stoke 0. Iheanacho and Vardy with the goals, 1 in each half. Stoke with a stripped back squad, hardly laid a glove on them, but it's 10 wins in 11 for Leicester City, who are already 10 points clear of the playoff places in the Championship. Full time, Leicester 2, Stoke 0.
Full time here at Turf Moor, and Chelsea have beaten Burnley by 4-1. They've gained their first back-to-back away wins since last October. They went behind to a Wilson Odobert goal after 15 minutes. Al Dakhil then got the equaliser, an own goal there after Sterling's good work just before half-time. Then it was Sterling who was influential. He won a penalty converted by Palmer. He then added a third himself, and then Jackson got the fourth. As it's full-time at Old Trafford, Mesfarouki.
Scott McTominay has turned this match on its head in the 97th minute. He scored the 93rd minute. How much does that ease the pressure on Erik ten Hag and on Andre Onana, who should have done better with Matthijs Jensen's strike in the first half? Full time, Manchester United have pulled this one out of nowhere. Manchester United 2, Brentford 1.
Palace Nottingham Forest at 5:30 will be on Sports Extra. The results in the Premier League: Luton 0, Tottenham 1, Everton 3, Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 2, Brentford 1, Burnley 1, Chelsea 4 here, still playing Fulham 2, Sheffield United 1. Jordan Gibson scored a hat-trick for Carlisle as they lead Bolton by 3-1. But we're going now to Lille. It's England-Samoa in the company of Cap Merchant, Matt Dawson and Chris Jones.